Book Club Schmook Club is brought to you by Talk Bomb. It's a book review show where I, Kristen Rogers Anderson, and my brother, Will Rogers, talk about a different book every other week. For more information, like our full archive of shows and our calendar of upcoming books, go to talkbomb.com/schmook. SHMOOK. You can follow us on Twitter and Instagram under the usernames @ChillinKristen and @HauntedSponge. Book Club Schmook Club is available on iTunes, Stitcher, or wherever you get your podcasts. Hello, welcome to Book Club Schmook Club. I'm Kristen.
I'm William.
And we are here with a Twin Peaks smorgasbord? Is it smorgasbord?
Smorgasbord.
What is it?
Smorgasbord?
It's schmorgas, not smorgas?
I think it's schmorg.
Okay, that's
Is
what I
it
thought.
on a board?
Yeah.
Like served a la plancha?
Yeah, I think so.
Interesting. We have 4 books sitting in front of us. Well, 3 physical books, and
Right.
one of them is an audiobook only. From the world of from the world of Twin Peaks. And they were all released alongside the original 2 seasons of the show back in the early 90s.
Right.
Seems like they range from like 1990 to 1991, and that's it. They made 4 of them.
Yeah.
And it was over.
Yes.
Just like the series.
Just because the show was over. Yeah.
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 So we read all 4 of them.
Yep.
And we're going to be talking about them here today on the show.
Yep, we slammed them.
We previously read a Twin Peaks book, the Secret History of Twin Peaks, a dossier, in which I think that we gave our history with the show Twin Peaks.
I think we did. I'm sure we did.
So I'll just ask you, did you ever read any of these?
No.
Now, you were like
Did you?
a pretty... No way.
Yeah.
You were a pretty big fan of the show.
Yeah.
Did it ever occur to you like, oh, you know what? Maybe I do want to seek out the Secret Diary of Laura Palmer.
Yeah. So the Secret Diary of Laura Palmer, I have thought about seeking out. I didn't know that these other things existed until you found them.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Yeah. It seems like these and maybe one other publication are considered like the official releases from the Twin Peaks world. There was also something that was made called the Twin Peaks Gazette, which was a newspaper.
Yeah.
Like a fake newspaper that ABC, the network ABC, sent out to members of the Twin Peaks fan club in the early 90s.
Which is so cute.
It is really cute. There are only something like 4 issues, and it seems like it's not really in universe that much. It seems like sometimes
like somebody made it up who was in the promotions department or something.
Right, yeah. Like you basically can't find that. It's unavailable in any format.
Yeah. There were also trading cards.
I saw that. That's weird. If you go on like eBay, this always drives me nuts. Like as like I'm more of a rubbernecker collector kind of guy, where like I'll just Google something that I really like and look it up on eBay.
Yeah, which is a beautiful thing.
And anytime that things are buried in being like, Twin Peaks trading card number 91.
Yeah.
Cyril Pons, the news reporter. Here are his likes and dislikes. I'm like, oh man.
Good deep cut.
That's very deep
Cyril
cut.
Pons. Good job.
He came up recently.
Yeah.
Because he's played by Mark Frost.
Yes.
So I wanted to come up with somebody super obscure.
Yeah.
But also I feel like he's been getting a lot of play, that Cyril Pons.
Kinda.
So like the fact that they had like the million trading cards thing, it's always annoying because it buries the actual cool collectible stuff. Too many cards. Selling them individually.
Then it just makes it like a treasure hunt.
Fair enough. All right. It's like Pokemon.
Right.
Okay, so
Gotta
we're
catch
going
them all.
to...
It's so fun to see what Bob's power is or whatever.
Yeah, exactly. Or Philip Michael Gerard or whatever. How'd he lose his arm? All right, we're going to do what we always do. We're going to go spoiler free to start.
Yep.
Talking about all 4 of these books. And so I think we're just going to go in the same order.
Yes.
In the spoiler free section as we will in the spoiler filled section.
Yep.
So Kristen, right in front of me right here, welcome to Twin Peaks Access Guide to the Town.
Okay.
This was, we're not going to
rapid fire round.
We're not going to really do any like plot synopses. Most of these don't have a plot. This is literally as if you went to a rest stop and found like a guide to a neighboring town and what's it like and what's its history.
It's literally like that, except if normal guides at rest stops went into personal stories of townsfolk.
Yeah, for sure.
Every few pages.
And actually have like pictures of people who live in the town and their likes and dislikes.
Which is really one of the only things that tethers it to the actual show, like Twin Peaks universe, because there are literally just things about like local bird song in there. It's called Welcome to Twin Peaks.
Yeah.
And then, so it's kind of boring. And then every once in a while there'll be like, I don't know, there's like a picture of Owl Cave, which is cool.
Yep.
Or, it'll be like
every
Big
item,
Ed's gas farm.
Yeah. Every single item that is on the jukebox in the Double R Diner. Which that takes up a page. May as well throw that in there.
Yeah, totally. I mean, it's like a cool curio.
Agreed.
But it's not, it's not a real Twin Peaksy book.
So do you recommend it?
No, not particularly. I don't not recommend it, but I wouldn't say it's like worth a purchase unless you're just somebody who likes to have things like this. Like it's a very cool thing to have, but I wouldn't say it's like an exciting read to get your hands on.
Right. Which actually brings me to my next point. The other thing that I want us to pay attention to with all of these is whether or not it contributes to how you enjoy the show.
No, not this one.
Not this one?
No.
Okay, so not recommend and doesn't really contribute to your understanding of the show.
No, it's like it's cool, but no, not particularly. What about you?
Absolute 100% same. I'm very happy to have this on my shelf.
Yeah, it's like a cool thing.
But I will probably never really open it again.
There's no need.
There are some times that I'm struggling to think of an example, but there are some times where the extended universe stuff, like printed books and stuff, might give you a viewpoint into your favorite show or movie that you had not considered before, and it might enrich your experience with it. Some of these books do that.
Yes.
This book does not.
No, it's just like a cool, cute thing.
So feel free to look up the Welcome Guide to Twin Peaks, Access Guide to the Town, if you want to know about every kind of like fishing anglerfish thing there are, and get Pete Martell's tips on how to be a fisherman.
A good guy. Yeah.
He has a book about farts that he brings with him, apparently.
He's a hoot.
All right. Book number 2.
Yes.
And I use the word book in quotes only.
Audio experience number 2.
It was Diane, the Twin Peaks tapes of Agent Cooper.
Yeah.
And this was literally, it's a 45-minute, it was originally a cassette tape.
Yep.
Now it's available through Audible for like $2.
Yeah. It's totally sweet.
It's literally every moment that Dale Cooper picks up his micro cassette recorder in the show. He's a special agent. He walks around and I'll go like, Diane, I'm staring down at the barrel of a gun.
Yeah.
Whatever the hell.
Right.
It's all those moments and some new monologues to fill in some gaps. So it starts with Dale Cooper and like he's about to go to Twin Peaks.
Yeah.
And then you actually hear moments from the show.
Right.
Kristen, do you recommend?
Yeah, totally.
Yeah?
Yeah, why not? It's like $2. It's a tight 45. It's fun to listen to. Yeah, I don't see any reason, to not recommend it.
And did it enrich your experience with the show?
No, not this one.
Did it add
just
anything?
Fun. No, just a fun experience.
Okay.
I don't think it really added too much. I mean, because there's some stuff added into it, like it's just kind of cute though. It's not anything that's really like furthering the mythos of it or anything like that. It's just kind of like, Diane, I'm sitting in a plane that's tiny or whatever.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, it's cool, but I can't say that it enhanced my experience with the show.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Once again, we're 2 for 2. I'm completely with you.
Yeah.
For $2, if you like Twin Peaks and if you like Special Agent Dale Cooper, like, why not go for it?
Totally.
Yeah, it was like really fun. Some of the jokes are kind of charming.
Yeah. I listened to it on one walk with Crumbs.
Yep.
Totally enjoyable.
Exactly.
Yeah, it was great.
But if I had never heard it before, it would make really no difference.
No.
And it doesn't go through all of the first 2 seasons of Twin Peaks.
Right.
It like stops partway through season 2, which is weird. Like it seems like an arbitrary time for them to even record it and release it.
Maybe they're just trying to like strike while the iron is hot or something. Because this is a lot of stuff to come out like as being part of in-universe in that, 2-year time span. So yeah, I don't know.
100%. Okay.
I wonder if it was more, I mean, it was obviously more, but like, I wonder how much it was back then. Like what made it worth it to do that, for like, for like consumers to buy it.
Kyle MacLachlan, who plays Agent Dale Cooper, was nominated for a Grammy.
Yep.
For like best spoken word performance or something for that tape, for that 45-minute thing.
So I think that's sweet. I mean, I just have like a major soft spot for him and for Agent Cooper and everything. However, because most of it was like from the show, that doesn't seem fair.
I agree.
Yeah.
It's like finding a way to honor his like incredible TV performance.
Completely.
Now that it's audio only, be like, I guess he gets a Grammy for it.
Yeah, like
sure.
if I were Dr. Maya Angelou being nominated for a Grammy alongside him for a spoken word performance, which I believe she was at some point.
Okay.
I believe she won.
I believe.
And then like a mixtape of already recorded TV stuff won over me. I'd be like, the fuck?
Yeah, this doesn't count.
I'm Dr. Angelou.
This isn't fair.
Yeah.
I'm Dr. Angelou.
I really, Angelou. I really spent time on this. I worked on my cadence. I have a beautiful voice. Yeah.
Well, I recorded my monologues 3 years ago, though.
Yeah.
Give me a Grammy.
Please.
Okay.
All right.
Now we're on to the big guns.
Yes.
Those two are just kind of like silly, small things.
Yep.
Now we're into two sort of significant tomes from the Twin Peaks world.
Yeah.
We're going to start with this one because it is the most bummerish.
Yes. Fully.
The Secret Diary of Laura Palmer. Now, for those of you listening who don't know, for some reason, the entire show, Twin Peaks, centers around the murder of Laura Palmer.
Yeah, she's that girl in the plastic. Maybe you've seen her.
Yeah. Wrapped in plastic. She, over the course of the show, it's revealed, had a secret diary that she had hidden. This is purporting to be that diary.
Right.
A lot of things happen in the book.
Sure do.
That are conceivably spoilery for the show.
Yes.
It was released between seasons 1 and 2 of the show, which I find curious. The show aired on ABC.
Yeah.
And yes, it talked about murder. It starts right off with a murder.
Crazy.
But it's very sort of like lighthearted and playful, and there are very dark undercurrents.
Yeah.
But then this book comes out, and this is like an NC-17 book.
Oh, man.
This, I feel like, would be like whiplash inducing if you were just a viewer.
Insane. And like teenagers read it and stuff.
Yeah.
Whew.
If you're like, wow, what a whimsical.
Yeah. I would like to go deeper and know more about Laura Palmer's secret diary.
Yeah,
Fun. Yowie.
Oh.
Yeah.
Do you recommend?
Okay. So my recommendation is complicated.
Yes.
And conditional.
And again, the only reason that I'm like steamrolling through spoiler free is because I think that there's almost no way to talk about these.
I 100% agree.
Yeah.
Yeah. And also they're 4. So like, gotta keep it.
We gotta go.
Toasty.
Gotta keep it toasty. Gotta keep it toasty. And if we have time, you and I are recording this in scant few days.
Right. I know.
Season 3 of Twin Peaks comes to a close.
Yep.
We're recording this on Thursday.
Yep.
The finale airs on Sunday. I am at my peak excitement for Twin Peaks right now.
Me too. This
and
is
so
the perfect timing.
I want to get the chains off us as soon as possible. Yeah.
I'm so glad that we're recording this after a totally sweet episode and not after like a stinky one where we're like, But
can you imagine how much of a bummer that would be? Season 3 has been very like hit or miss.
Uneven.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like some weeks it's amazing and some weeks it's one of the worst shows I've ever seen.
Yeah.
And if we had to read 4 Twin Peaks books during a week where I'm like, oh my God, why'd they make this?
Yeah.
And then I'm reading about like Andrew Packard's family lineage.
Which is in Welcome to Twin Peaks, the guidebook.
Oh my God. I'd just be like, why do I like this?
Strange Material in Guidebook.
Like, why do I like this series? Why do I like this franchise? But when it's good, it is so good.
Incredibly
all right, sorry,
good.
back to your recommendation.
Okay. All right. So, I'm going to keep it non-spoilery. So let's see. Yeah. Okay. So it's a tough book. Like, not only is it NC-17, it's like a lot of childhood sexual abuse and trauma and drugs and super duper dark stuff. So it's a tough read for sure. So if you're somebody who has a hard time with things like that for whatever reason, then I would say don't read it. If it's something that's like not good for you.
It is just upsetting.
It's really upsetting.
It's really upsetting and really twisted.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yep. However, I will say, I think it's actually really well done. It's a really well written book. It's crazy. We'll get into it more and like who wrote it and the history of it and all that kind of stuff because I won't say because it's supposed to be her diary. It's ambiguous, but you can find it online. Anyway, it's really, really well written. It does kind of color in some things from the show and sort of interplay with your experience of watching it. So I kind of half recommend it, half don't recommend it.
Yeah.
I'm glad that I read it.
So you do feel like it added to your enjoyment of the series?
It's hard to say. I don't know. Even though I know that it's canon and everything, it still feels somewhat separate to me, maybe because I've seen the series so many times and from so long ago before I read this.
Yeah.
So It's weird. I don't really know how to explain it. Like, not really, but kind of.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, a lot of this book covers the same events and subject matter as the movie Fire Walk With Me.
Right. Oh, you know what? I just realized why it doesn't totally interplay with it to me and fill it in. Because this was written in between seasons. It was written between seasons 1 and 2.
Yeah.
It's not like they had this in mind when they were writing season 1 of the story.
Right.
So it doesn't really fill in gaps that were already existing. It kind of just creates some more narrative that does fit in with what was already written, but it doesn't feel like you're getting insight that you were missing watching the first one.
Yeah.
So that's kind of why it doesn't feel like that to me.
I agree.
But it doesn't feel so jarring that they have nothing to do with each other or anything, like fanfic or like whatever. But no, it doesn't feel like an extension to me exactly.
Yeah, to me, it's also a matter of like, because this book literally covers some of the same events as Fire Walk With Me, but says different things.
Right.
It's like, I don't even know if it could be considered canon or real, quote unquote, within the world of Twin Peaks as we've seen on film.
I think it is though, because there's enough in it that does happen or line up with Fire Walk With Me, and they've said that it inspired it.
Yeah, but there are a lot of events that contradict things that happen in Fire Walk With Me.
Yeah, but I think I kind of take that kind of stuff for granted with David Lynch stuff. He seems not to care that much.
True.
Like if it's cool, he's willing to kind of disregard that sort of history and just let it be dream logic. But yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, I see what you're saying. And I definitely do recommend this book. You have to know going into it that it's not going to be some like kind of like light exploration of the themes of the show. It is very heavy.
Yeah.
It's very starkly real and upsetting at times.
Yeah.
And we'll probably say a little bit more in the spoilery side. So I do recommend it as a book because I think it's really interesting. I like some of what I really like about this and the next book is that even the way they're written, the people who wrote them are in the world of this production.
Yeah.
David Lynch's daughter wrote this book, The Secret Diary of Laura Palmer.
We were saving that for spoiler territory.
Why?
Because
the spoiler who wrote it?
I just said that earlier. Yeah, because you're not supposed to know.
Why?
It doesn't say it anywhere. You're supposed to believe that Laura Palmer wrote it.
Oh, well, but
yeah,
she's
but like
not a real person.
Yeah, but you know, I was going to leave it for like, all right, well, cat's out of the bag.
Her name is Jennifer Lynch.
Yeah.
And she's David Lynch's daughter. And he said, just like put yourself in the mindset of Laura Palmer. You are Laura Palmer. Here are a few things I need you to say in the book that are plot points from the show. Go. She wrote it. And it was very well received. David Lynch seemingly never read it, which is probably good.
Yeah.
Because it'd be like, I can't imagine like it seems like it really feels like a girl's diary.
Yeah.
So it would feel distinctly like, oh, did you imagine this or did you, is this your diary?
Oh, completely.
Now? Yeah. So I do recommend it. I do think that it added something to me from the show. It was more fun to be able to hold something in my hands that's literally talked about in the show and be like, oh, they're worried about the secret diary of Laura Palmer. Well, I'm holding it and I'm reading it right now. So I love it on that level as well.
Yeah.
So I completely recommend this book. Which brings us to our fourth and final book. So we're reading 4 books on this show.
Yep.
The Autobiography of FBI Special Agent Dale Cooper. My Life, My Tapes. Literally, this is Special Agent Dale Cooper, since he was like 12 years old, has been recording himself, speaking into a microphone on various different kinds of recording equipment. In middle school, high school, in college, going through the F.B.I. Academy, and then actually as the Dale Cooper we know from Twin Peaks.
Yep.
Kristen.
Yeah.
Do you recommend this book?
Joy.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's great.
Yeah, it's the best of the 4.
Oh, 100%.
By far.
It's so much fun. It's totally written in his voice. It's like perfect.
Yep.
It kind of like references things that happen in the show later. It does like kind of fill in gaps a little bit more. This actually interacts with my experience of the show more than The Secret Diary of Laura Palmer does.
Agreed.
It was a fun romp.
Yeah, I could not agree more.
Yeah.
I loved it. Immediately within like a couple of pages, I was literally laughing.
Yeah.
While reading the book. Because I had Dale Cooper's voice in my head.
Yeah.
Saying the things that he says in the book. And,
totally.
Allie and I were driving to the city. She was driving. And I wanted to read her one thing from it that I thought was funny. And then this is the kind of thing that like it sounds super annoying. But it was like really enjoyable. I just kept going. I just kept reading the book to her.
Enjoyable for who?
It was so funny and charming, and it does fill in. It's nice to know more about him.
Yes.
In a way that feels very authentically real. This
totally
distinctly sounds like Special Agent Dale Cooper from the show Twin Peaks.
Yep.
And you get to know all about him and his life.
Yes.
And weird things that he did as a kid that were kind of adventurous. Some things that are somewhat scandalous that you would not think of Dale Cooper.
Yep. So he's a human being like any of us.
Yep, absolutely.
Even though he's one of the most okie dokie human beings I can think of.
Sure.
Yeah.
I do want to also point out that there are a couple contradictions in this book.
Yes.
To the show, which I think is a through line through all of the books.
Yep.
Which I find interesting, and let's talk about that in the spoilery side.
Yeah.
So I recommend that entirely.
Yeah.
So, ladies and gentlemen listening, if you're afraid of spoilers for any of these 4 books,
you better bazounce.
You better get the hell out of there. And here. We don't recommend Welcome to Twin Peaks Access Guide to the Town.
Nope.
It's fun as a collector's item, but that's about it.
Totally.
We do recommend the Dale Cooper 45-minute long audio book thing.
Yep.
Just a fun little thing. Why not?
Yeah.
We do recommend The Secret Diary of Laura Palmer.
Unless things like that bother you, you have to know that about yourself.
And we greatly recommend the autobiography of Dale Cooper, My Life, My Tapes.
Yeah, big time.
So that's the tally.
Yeah.
We'll see you on the other side.
That's pretty good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right, bye, dinguses.
Spoiler time.
Yes, okay. Pardon the interruption. To run our show, Book Club Schmook Club needs help from our listeners. You can donate to the show by going to patreon.com/talkbomb, where you'll be able to choose a monthly donation that you feel comfortable with. As a thank you from us, you'll instantly get access to all of our bonus Between Book shows, which don't stay in our main feed. Every time a new one comes out, we bump the last one on over to Patreon. There are dozens and dozens of secret shows that you haven't had access to if you're not a donor. Doesn't that inflame your FOMO? That's fear of missing out. It's an acronym. You'll also have access to each new bonus show as it comes out, and early access to all of our book reviews. We load them onto Patreon as soon as we record them, so our donors get all of our episodes days earlier than they show up on the public feeds. Again, going to patreon.com/talkbomb and setting up a donation makes that happen, and we thank you so much for it. If you would prefer to individually purchase our bonus episodes, you can find them in our shop at talkbomb.com, where we also have stickers and bookmarks for sale. We would also really appreciate your support by leaving us a review on iTunes, Stitcher, or your favorite podcast app. Positive reviews help other people find our show by making podcast apps more likely to list us. It also helps validate us to people cruising around looking for something to check out. So leaving us a review is like paying it forward twofold, since it helps us and it turns someone else onto something you enjoy. And we do hope you enjoy the show, so let's get back to it.
All right, let's just. I feel weird because I feel like I've been very structured and trying to just like grind us through.
No, it's fine.
So now I'm just gonna take the training wheels off.
Okay, we're still gonna do them one at a time, right?
That's what I was gonna say. Do you even want to? Because I feel like we just talk about whatever the hell we want.
No, it's gonna be confusing.
All right, then we still end on Dale Cooper?
Yeah.
All right, fine.
No, it's too much of a bummer to end on Laura Palmer.
Oh, no, completely.
Yeah.
But I just want to know. So we're going back to the start. Let's get... Say anything that you felt like you couldn't say about Welcome to Twin Peaks Access Guide to the Town.
No, I feel I've said it all.
I want to say a few quick things.
Okay.
One, I was impressed that there was a little more structure than I had anticipated.
Yeah.
It opens up with a note written by Mayor Milford, who we know from having read... Oh, there's also spoilers for The Secret History of Twin Peaks. Like, this is no holds barred.
Yeah.
So if you haven't read that book, which came out earlier, last year?
Yeah, like not that long ago.
Then yeah, spoiler for that, we already did a show on it.
Yeah.
Milford is the brother of Dougie Milford, who was basically the main through line Forrest Gump character of The Secret History of Twin Peaks, exploring the paranormal and everything.
Yep. UFOs and stuff.
On page like 10 or something like that, there's an image in this book of a frog with wings.
Oh, yeah.
Which many people have pointed out online, like on the Twin Peaks subreddit.
I know. Oh, yeah, I have a picture of that on my phone. That's right. I forgot about that. Yeah.
It is.
Yeah, that's really cool and weird.
In episode 8.
Anything else I'm forgetting.
In episode 8 of Twin Peaks season 3, we see nuclear testing.
Yep.
We see eggs.
I think you mean nuclear.
Nuclear bombs.
It's okay. Yeah.
I always forget about that U.
Yeah. Sneaks up on you.
Eggs that hatch with sort of weird... they look like they have frog legs and the body of like roaches or something, cockroaches and wings. Well, in this book, we have an image of a weird frog with legs and wings.
Yeah.
With the inscription, Chinook legends describe the appearance long ago of an ancestress of the frog clan. They tell of a house floating in the middle of a lake. On the house sits a woman, her knees, breasts, eyebrows, and backs of her hands covered with flying frogs. Ever since that time, the flying frog has been viewed as a special crest. Well, it feels like this is perhaps a legend that inspired David Lynch and Mark Frost to write the little monster that appears in season 3 of Twin Peaks.
For sure. It's like the same thing.
Absolutely the same thing.
Yeah, it's awesome.
Only 2 places I've ever seen anything like this.
Yeah.
So are they drawing from the same pool of bizarre mythology that they have been since the beginning? Mm-hmm. Or is it coincidence? It feels like it can't be.
I don't think it can be coincidence.
But how amazing is it that this obscure, like, kind of tourist guide to Twin Peaks contains foreshadowing of something we would see 25 years later.
Totally. It's awesome.
Absolutely.
I did take a couple of pictures of things from the guide. Let me see. Things I just thought were funny, though. Okay. Let me see. Okay. So in one of the little bio things where they have stuff about the characters, there's the thing about Catherine Martell.
Yeah.
And it says bests. Twin Peaks generally quiescent, I don't really know how you say that, population, Elvis Presley, and sometimes the Horn. That's like one of her best things at Twin Peaks is like her affair with Benjamin Horn, but they call him the Horn in this guide.
Is it definitely the Horn, not like a trombone?
No, it's the capital Horne.
Weird.
The Horn. And it's also weird that the isn't capitalized then.
Yeah, that is weird.
Yes.
I took just a couple of things, literally 2. There's a picture of a football team, and they have like little lines pointing out notable players. One of them is, and weirdly enough, like it would be stuff where it would point out like, Deputy Hawk. Yeah. Who is like a main character of the show. And then they have a line to this guy, Herb Cutthroat Sear, number 67 on the football team. Sidelined 7 quarterbacks in the season. Favorite saying? Let's kick some essence of butt.
Essence of butt.
Essence of butt.
Oh my God. And then another weird thing that this is just something that keeps flip-flopping and it could mean nothing. I think it means nothing because this character is dead now. But about Pete Martell, in the guidebook, again, little bio thing, it says that Pete was given a chessboard and the rest is history because he was a really good chess player in the TV show. But then in the secret history that just came out early this year, they said he doesn't know how to play chess.
Oh, well now that we are on the spoiler side, let's use that as a springboard to talk about the concept of canon.
Okay, yes.
And the fact that these
what the hell's going on?
Well, perhaps literally something.
Okay.
People brought up the fact that, like, there are weird inconsistencies in the secret history of Twin Peaks like that. Mm-hmm. Like, that's a big, obvious one. Like, Pete is notable for being able to solve chess moves in the second season of Twin Peaks.
Right.
And Nadine and Big Ed Hurley, the entire story of how they met and fell in love is different in the show versus the book.
Right.
And the fact that the book just came out a year ago, The Secret History of Twin Peaks, is like, well, did Mark Frost forget? Right. Is he deliberately changing the story? And somebody asked him on Twitter, and he said, all will be revealed. Right. Now, spoiler alert for season 3. Like this, whatever.
I'm about to say, just
spoilers for everything except the final episode of season 3, and only
because we haven't seen it. Yeah.
We have no reason to believe that we would understand why there might be separate histories of the world. Why in maybe one reality, what's his name? Pete Martell. Knows chess very well, and in another he doesn't know chess. Right. Mark Frost tweet suggests that he's aware of the issues and that it is part of the plan. That I had in my mind the entire time that we read all 4 of these books. Secret Diary of Laura Palmer and Autobiography of Special Agent Dale Cooper have contradictions to things that happen later on. The way that Laura Palmer dies, her relationship with the characters Leo and Jacques play out differently in this book from the movie Fire Walk with Me, which is specifically about Laura Palmer's final 7 days of her life. Dale Cooper in this book is said to have inspected the death of not Ronette Pulaski.
Teresa Banks.
Teresa Banks, who was killed a year before Laura Palmer under similar circumstances. Well, we also saw in Fire Walk with Me that he did not investigate that crime scene at all.
It was Agent Chet Desmond.
Chet Desmond did it. So are these problems because these books were written before that movie was made, and so whatever, the movie is, we have to believe that, and these are just out of the canon?
Right.
Or are these two books, like The Secret History of Twin Peaks, potentially explained away by whatever thing Mark Frost is referring to? All will be explained eventually about these timeline snafus and anachronisms.
Right.
I kind of think that that is a cop-out.
I totally think it is.
But also, if they do have some in-universe thing, if at the end of season 3 of Twin Peaks, Dale Cooper goes back to the beginning of time and does something to erase himself, and it changes the history of the world, and things mostly happen the same, but not quite just without him or something.
Yeah.
Great.
Yeah.
Then every single book is 100% canon because multiple versions of things happened.
Right. Yeah, I don't know about that. I don't feel that coming. I feel like if the books were more popular, then it might be a little bit more of an issue, but because they're not really, at least not now, it doesn't seem like it comes up a ton. But I don't think that he would care enough to be like, shit, how are we going to tie the fabric of The Secret Diary of Laura Palmer and the autobiography of Cooper together with everything else?
But how could he screw up something so
well,
obvious
I think
in the Secret History of Twin Peaks?
I think that might be a deliberate thing. I'm just saying with these two books that have all the inconsistencies that I think that they're just...
Well, but like, I guess my other thing is this, like, there's so little Twin Peaks.
Right.
For as like, beloved this franchise is, and in a cult way.
Yeah, totally.
It is weird that there's like...
It's completely
weird.
There are
3 seasons of it, a movie, and like 5 books. That's it.
Right.
And they couldn't find a way to make them all tell the same story.
I know.
You know what I mean? Like,
totally.
Why are there these mistakes? If I were in charge of this stuff, it would drive me nuts that some of these things are not admissible as canon. It would drive me crazy.
Yeah.
I would be like, why the hell didn't David Lynch just write what happened in The Secret Diary of Laura Palmer in that movie?
Right.
You could have shown these events.
I guess I just assumed that he took what he liked and then the rest was like, no, it'll be better like this.
I get that. I understand. That is what happened.
Yeah.
I mean, there's no getting around it. That is what he did. But it's like, no, how great would it have been if the diary was true?
Yeah. I mean... I don't know.
So I don't know. All right. Welcome to Twin Peaks, Access Guide to the Town.
Yeah.
They have a little blurb in there about the creation of the owl. There's a lot about owls in Twin Peaks overall, about how the owls are not what they seem. Owls seem to mean a lot of things to a lot of people. So they have this little blurb about the creation of the owl. And it seems like it's an old, like, passed down story of how it happened. And the only thing I really want to say about this is it's basically a young man built a hut for his mother-in-law to live in. She was jealous of her daughter being with this guy. So she told her daughter, why don't you turn into an owl and fly out of here? So the girl turns into an owl, flies away, which leaves her human skin behind. So the mother wears the skin so that she can be with the guy and sleep in the same bed.
Yeah.
And then she eventually... The daughter comes back in the form of an owl and says, why don't you just fly away with me?
Yeah.
So he turns into an owl and they fly away together. That's the creation of the owl.
Yeah.
But that story could just be a mother told her daughter, why don't you turn into an owl and get out of here? And she does. That's the creation of the owl.
Right.
None of this other stuff about wearing her skin and anything else. That's not necessary at all.
It's just part of the legend.
You just created an owl.
Yeah.
It's done.
Well, they're telling the entirety of the legend.
I guess. And I guess maybe you need 2, right? You need a boy owl and a girl owl.
That's true.
To get more owls.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right.
Gotta get enough owls.
Yeah. But also it has like kind of like a body snatcher concept behind it, which is part of Twin Peaks.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah, like it.
Yeah, it's pretty sweet.
And the final thing that I have to say about this book at all, it's also kind of like a dossier.
Yes.
Where the idea of this book is that people have been told they have to write this guide to the town. So they try to get in touch with Major Garland Briggs.
Yeah.
Who we know is the man behind it.
I was pretty excited about this part.
I loved it. It's the final page.
Yeah.
The man who's behind the dossier of the Secret History of Twin Peaks book. He's like a central figure to season 3. They sent him a note saying, we wrote the following for our guide. We would appreciate your approval and return. And then they have a blurb, which the writers of this guide just sent to him. And I guess it's maybe about him, about Major Garland Briggs, who works in this like secret military thing. And Major Garland Briggs sent it back. He redacted most of the words, just put black over all the words except for the following. Nobody knows the trouble we've caused. End of book.
Yeah.
How great is that?
Pretty sweet.
What a great
I forgot about that.
dark, weird undercurrent to end this fluff.
Yeah.
Like weirdo.
Yeah. It's so strange that it's there.
It's great.
It's really weird that it's there. Then there's no follow up to that. There was never another, like, it seems like now taking that into consideration, thinking about it, because I just looked at it when I read this and I was like, ooh, that's cool, and kind of forgot about it. It feels more like the Secret History is an extension of this now.
Yeah, I agree.
Because it's filling in some of those gaps about Garland Briggs.
I agree.
Yeah,
this feels
totally sweet now that I think about it.
They're two very similar things, because especially like this.
Yeah, it set up, similarly.
Opens with like extended history of the region, and Lewis and Clark explored it, which is all said again in the Secret History of Twin Peaks.
Yeah.
So that's like a gigantic expansion of this little book.
Yeah.
But what a great way to end it.
Totally.
What a cool thing. Nobody knows the trouble we've caused.
Yeah. Yeah, it's awesome.
I love it. All right, the audio book. The little 45-minute thing.
Yeah.
Anything to say?
I mean, it sucks. These two have like nothing to say.
That's fine.
It was fun.
We'll just get through 'em.
Yeah, it was fun to listen to. I didn't mind the added things at all or anything.
Yeah.
It was good. I enjoyed it.
I thought it was funny that like you can hear the show when he's like, I'm standing looking at the body of Laura Palmer. What's that? Is there something under her nail? And like you can hear the ambient sound of the room, and it's very natural. And then you can tell when there's like a newly written monologue from him. So like, Diane, I think I'm going to get some rest now.
Yeah.
It would be nice for me to lay my head back and just relax. Like he's over enunciating every single word because it's a vocal performance,
Right.
rather than being like, Hawk, where are we? What should we do next?
Yeah, and having other things to do and concentrate on.
It's funny. It felt obvious, but not in a bad way.
Yeah.
I just kept being like, oh, this is like a new one.
Yeah.
I can tell because of everything.
It's funny. I didn't notice.
The entire way it sounds. It was also cool to be driving my car and like hear the theme to Twin Peaks, which is part of
I know.
Loved it.
Totally. I felt the same way when I was walking. I was like, ooh, this is weird to like not be watching it, but this is in my ears.
Allie and I got a couple of the score vinyls
Oh, cool.
from Firewalk with Me and from the show.
Oh, that's cool.
Which I'm pretty pumped about it.
Yeah.
Listen to them once for the novelty.
Yeah.
And then just have them.
Yeah, but they're cool.
Yeah.
I want the soundtrack to the new show.
I know.
It's good.
It is. It's really good.
Yeah.
You mean like Nine Inch Nails, right?
Yeah, I basically just want that Nine Inch Nails song.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Chris, I can get it for you.
No, that's okay. I got it.
No, I have it. I can give it to you.
Okay.
Okay. Line from that song. Yeah, I was watching on the day she died.
Yeah.
Which is so great. And in the context of Twin Peaks, is so gross and weird.
Yeah.
It's like we were watching on the day she died.
Totally. A bunch of the songs have lines like that kind of tie into everything. It's totally sweet.
It's like they were deliberately picked to have like resonance with the show. Every song that's in it.
Yes.
Season 3, that is. Which brings us to The Secret Diary of Laura Palmer.
Whew. There's a dense meatball.
It is. It's a very dense meatball.
Okay. So it is, it's written from when she was 12 years old until she died at 16. It reads very much like a real diary.
Yeah.
But yeah, there's a lot of heavy, it starts, gradually, like just kind of like cutesy 12-year-old stuff, but then just like slowly a lot of like dark sexuality stuff starts to creep in. Even just like her thoughts, but then she starts to talk about Bob, who in the original series, was this entity that was sexually abusing her, and that ended up being that it was an entity that was inhabiting her father. And then in the show somewhat, but definitely more in the book, she starts, and she doesn't say this, but it's, unfortunately kind of classic sexual abuse cycle. She starts acting out, if you could call it that, whatever. She starts acting super duper sexually and kind of self-destructively. With sex and drugs and just like super risky behavior.
And also seems like she's upset about it, but kind of can't stop. Like she's completely. Like, I don't know why I think these things. I don't know why I want these things to happen. They make me think that I'm crazy, that I'm a bad person, but maybe I just want them to happen. Like maybe I just like that. Yeah. And I thought that was interesting because one, I bet there are people that actually like, without any sort of background of like, of like misery and abuse.
Right.
are into like what most people would term like darker stuff.
Yeah, oh, for sure.
And they probably do go like, well, most of this is depicted like I'm a monster, but like, I just like this.
Or like something must have happened to me that makes me respond in this way. Like that I wouldn't be into it otherwise. No, 1,000,000%. It's just knowing that she has been through it. Yeah.
But like knowing that like the book feels very human in that way.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Like she feels like a very realistically troubled person.
Yeah.
And even like there's stuff in the book that like it feels like a little girl's diary to start, where like literally within like a couple of pages.
She gets a pony.
She gets a pony. I had a pony.
You know, I hate anybody who had a pony.
There's that scene where she's at a dinner and some guy says he hates anyone that had a pony.
And so like that spurns on a lot of dark self-harm kind of things having to do with her. Yeah.
And you know, the pony is obviously an imagery of aggression, and it's a very loaded.
1,000,000.
Very loaded.
Yeah.
But like within a couple of pages, she's like, I hope I get my period soon.
Yeah.
And I was thinking like, one, I'm like glad that this is actually written by a woman.
Oh yeah.
Because that would feel like
really creepy and strange coming from like a grown man.
Like stupidly panderingly false.
Yeah.
And be like, well, this is the only thing women think about.
Right.
I bet.
Well, some cliches are cliches for a reason. Like I definitely remember wanting to get my period. You know, so I could very conceivably have written something like that in my diary.
No, I know. But what I'm saying is more the larger point that I even wanted to make about that is reading this book and being like, I wonder if I'm going to relate to this or not relate to it because it's a girl's diary or whatever.
Yeah.
But I ended up just being like, you know what? This is like a really like humanizing tale of a person's inner thoughts. And that's relatable in like a universal way.
Yes, I think so.
Like anxiety about what your friends really think about you. And
if they think the same things as you.
Yep.
Yeah.
And being like, you know what? I bet I'm screwed up. I'm way darker than anyone thinks.
Yeah.
I distinctly remember being 16 through 26 and being like, nobody knows how twisted I am. I have this facade of the smiling person, and yet inside lies the demon awaiting.
I'm just wearing a human suit.
Yeah. Why are you wearing that stupid bunny suit? Why are you wearing that stupid man suit?
Is that from Donnie Darko?
Darko. Yeah. Is a Darko boy.
Is that good? Have you seen that? Like,
not as an adult.
Me neither. I think I rented it from Blockbuster.
Oh, really?
Yeah. I have only seen it that one time. I know some of the finer points of it because it's such a big deal. Like, I know about doubting somebody's commitment to sparkle motion. I remember that line. You know, I remember the bunny thing, obviously.
Sure.
I don't really remember that much about what it's about or anything.
We should get that and do a back-to-back of Donnie Darko and S. Darko.
I never watched that.
Sequel they made starring Donnie Darko's little sister.
I don't know. I think I'm fine.
Yeah, so am I.
Okay. Yeah.
I remember studying Donnie Darko and wanting to know what the underlying theory was. I had like special edition DVDs that
I remember you being
it.
very into Donnie Darko. I mean, actually, now that you're saying that, I do remember either talking about it with you or reading about it myself or a little bit of both or something. And yeah, the underlying meaning kind of stuff.
There's like crazy stuff about like becoming the manifested self and like intersecting with the I don't know.
Yeah,
it's insane.
Yeah. Anyway.
Yeah. No, anyway. So I felt like this was very interestingly real.
Yeah.
And then also there was a bunch of cool, you know, albeit kind of grisly and dark foreshadowing of what's really going on. Because knowing what time this period was produced in is like super important to understanding why it does what it does. Nobody knew who killed Laura Palmer when this came out. It was not said. That only happens in season 2. This came out before that.
Right.
But this was purporting to be like, oh, you might pick up some clues by reading this book.
Yeah.
And I didn't.
I didn't either. I was looking for it and I really didn't.
The only thing.
I would say there's something, but it was like really, really not much of anything.
They're very, very obscure things. Because the fact of the matter is, the history of Twin Peaks is very weird, the show. Like, the idea that they never wanted to reveal who the killer was.
Yeah.
David Lynch and Mark Frost, their plan was to never say who killed Laura Palmer. This was just our excuse to get into this world and start to learn about weirdo mysticism and other crimes and dark stuff and other realities and doppelgangers.
Yeah.
And then ABC, the network, forced them to. They said, no, you better tell us who did it. So I don't believe that they ever wrote this being like, this will actually give you an answer.
Yeah.
However, I read the book. And then I had to move on to one of the other books or something, or I was in the car and I was like, I wish I could just do these as an audiobook.
Yeah.
And then I was like, oh, wait a minute.
Oh, God, you listened to the audiobook of it?
Not the entire thing.
Oh, okay.
Out of curiosity.
That sounds...
Yeah, no, I read all of these except for the audiobook only one.
Yeah.
But The Secret Diary of Laura Palmer, they just last year released a new version of it as an audiobook, read by Cheryl Lee, who played Laura Palmer in the original show and Fire Walk with Me.
Yeah.
And so I wanted to check it out just out of curiosity. So I listened to like the first chapter, maybe. First of all, hearing a something like 50-ish year old person play a 12-year-old didn't work.
I wouldn't think
and
so.
It was kind of hard to listen to.
Yeah, it sounds like it would be annoying and
annoying.
Embarrassing, but then also for all the sexual stuff, like excruciating.
No, because at that point I was just like, well, I know what I'm getting myself into, so whatever. But listening to it a second time, I picked up on a line, which I'm definitely making too much out of, because there's no way they wrote this being like, this gives it away.
Okay.
In like the first couple of pages, Laura Palmer talks about how she's going to spend time with her dad, and he's the only person that loves the woods as much as she does.
Oh.
And then we come to find out the rest of the book that Bob, the demon guy, takes her to the woods.
Right.
He visits her through her
that's
window.
Not something that you know in the show at all.
No.
Yeah. Or in Fire Walk with Me.
He takes her to the woods to like torture her, basically, to cut her and watch the blood run and like wear her out in weird ways.
Yeah.
And so the implication that like, I love the woods and my dad loves the woods.
Right.
And then here's a book worth of stories about a monster who takes me to the woods all the time.
Yeah.
Like it feels like it's there, but I don't really believe it was intended.
So how does she say it? Do you remember? Like, she's like, my dad's the only person who also loves the woods.
No, I think it's literally like thrown away.
Oh, okay. Oh, I thought you were saying that you hadn't noticed it until you heard her say it and that her inflection was kind of giving it away or something.
No, not at all. I heard the line said out loud.
And it hit your ear.
Yeah, he likes the woods as much as I do. That's it.
Oh, okay.
Yep.
Yeah.
She also, weird things that feel like they resonated with me a little bit for season 3, which means they definitely weren't intended.
Right.
Are the fact that she has a dream in which a weird man sings a song in her mother's voice. And we know from season 3, seriously, if you're not watching it, this is like a big spoiler. This would bum me out if I heard this.
Yeah.
So if you don't want to have season 3 spoiled, get out of here now.
Yeah. Run.
Through seasons 1 and 2, her father Leland is possessed by a demon. In season 3, it seems like her mom, for sure, is something supernatural. Something
it's fully sweet.
Is inside her or replaced her.
Yeah.
So the idea of Sarah Palmer, the mom, had been totally innocuous in seasons 1 and 2. She was like a figure, for sure, but there was never really a spotlight on her.
She screamed and cried a lot.
A lot.
Yeah. I mean, she was great.
Season 3, she's like scary as shit.
Yeah.
And the fact that there's anything in this book suggesting here's a demon that speaks in my mom's voice.
Right.
Bam. Well, there you go.
Yeah, totally.
Like, that feels like that is intended, but there's no way it was, but it plays different now. It like you see things that it's like a Rorschach test.
Yeah, totally.
There's even a mention later on about seeing a person. She has a reaction to a doctor wearing rubber gloves. And again, super duper not intended.
Yeah.
But it just evokes the idea of that guy in season 3 who has that green rubber glove.
I actually didn't think about that.
There are like rubber glove people out there or something. In a dream, she sees a long-haired man with a big beard and he has dirty hands. Well, that sounds a lot like the charcoal men from season 3.
Yeah.
None of these intended, but all of them there if you want them to be there.
Yeah, and if you already have them in your head, if you already have this lens that you're going to be applying over everything else, then you can start to notice things.
And they may as well be equally true.
Yeah.
Why not? Like, this is all one world, so she saw charcoal men.
Yeah.
There you go. There's a reference to charcoal men in The Secret Diary of Laura Palmer, if you want there to be.
Just so you know.
Yeah.
There's also, there are a couple of references that, again, maybe mean something, or maybe, one of them, okay, whatever. This one, I feel like, could have something to do with the rest of the world. It's her talking about a giant. So she's on drugs and stuff with like a group of people, but She says that all 5 of us sat and talked about all sorts of things. Like if maybe our universe was just a tiny little speck of lint that a huge giant hadn't noticed on his sweater. And someday soon, who knows if this great giant would just brush us off or toss us into a washer and drown us all to death. We all liked the idea that there might be other little universes or balls of lint on this sweater. And we thought we'd someday like to meet a few people from these other places, as long as they were nice to us.
Love it.
First of all, I just love that concept. It's awesome. But also, like, I would think that it played into something with the giant.
Yeah, giants creating worlds. There's the giant.
Right, exactly. In the next season. So it's not like it was even so far removed from when this book was written.
Yeah.
And then the thing that I don't think has anything to do with anything, because it's from season 3, but the log lady calls her to meet her. And they have this kind of like nice talk, and it's at an old abandoned gas station.
Yeah.
So that's kind of weird because a convenience store is the site of a lot of like otherworldly weirdness in this current 3rd season of Twin Peaks, but it's been mistaken for a gas station by people in the show.
Yeah.
I mean, mistaken for whatever.
Well, it has a gas station up front too.
Oh, yeah, that's right. There are gas pumps. But yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
But I think that must just be either coincidence or mined back into for this season.
But that's the thing too, where this is like, I feel like I always end up on one side of the fence on this particular issue. Like the way that things are produced and written is great. Like artist intention is super important, but also whatever the viewer or reader gets out of it, your interpretation is valid and it is real. So to put ourselves in the world of Twin Peaks and be obsessed with all of this imagery and all of like the concept of like, maybe we'll find cool foreshadowing in these books. Maybe that makes things pop out to us that aren't really explicitly true.
Right.
But the fact that they can be interpreted as like being like, yeah, like that, seeing the log lady at an old gas station, that might be the gas station from Fire Walk with Me in season 3. Valid.
Right.
Bam,
right. I forgot that it's in Fire Walk with Me. Yeah.
Like all of this. I love it.
Yeah.
Even if they were written 20 years ago, it can all be true.
Yeah,
it might all be true.
Yeah, unless there's anything that directly contradicts it.
Yep.
It's like, yeah, why not think about those things tying together?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I love it.
Yeah.
Now let's get into some of the contradictions that I think are like problematic unless there is some weird Mark Frost explanation.
I can't wait for that book.
Bob writes in this book.
Yeah, I know. Like, I
don't even know what to think about that.
So that makes it almost seem like she's just having some sort of, like, you could interpret it as her having some sort of, like, weird mental
like
back and forth with herself.
Yeah.
If I didn't know about the rest of the show and I was just reading this book, I would think that was what was going on.
Yeah, there's nothing really supernatural in the book.
No, not really. So I would think that Laura is just
having imaginary arguments.
Yes, basically.
And flipping back and forth, like writing in all caps as Bob.
Right.
And literally having sometimes arguments that are like
with herself.
Ha ha ha, you will never get me. And she'll be like, you're back again writing in my book? How dare you?
It took me out of it because I'm like, why are you writing this? Yeah.
It's like silly. It's kind of like Harry Potter arguing with Tom Riddle's diary in a weird way. Yeah. But it also contradicts the way that Bob operates.
Exactly.
Like, Bob never half possessed multiple people.
No.
If you believe the show, he possessed Leland Palmer.
Right.
And murdered Laura.
Right.
And if you believe the movie Fire Walk with Me, then he wanted to possess Laura Palmer. Right. But he was prevented from doing so by a magical ring. I think that's the popular interpretation of what that is. 'Cause still no
is that knows. Not in the show at all?
Not really. The show is in season 2? No. Because
I guess it's just in fact that she didn't want to let him. She didn't want to let him take her. Yeah, that's only in Fire Walk with Me.
I think so. Yeah. Okay. And so now in this, it sort of suggests like, well, no, he was like partially in control of her too.
Yeah,
and that's not true.
I know. It's one of those things I think I will conveniently disregard in my mind.
Yeah,
it doesn't.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And again, like maybe it is all canon somehow. Maybe it is all
for
true.
For some reason, it doesn't strike me as canon-y.
No.
I don't know.
In the show Twin Peaks, the first 2 seasons, there's mention made of Laura having told someone that Bobby, her boyfriend Bobby Briggs, killed a guy. In Fire Walk with Me, we see that he accidentally shot a drug dealer guy.
Right.
In the book,
started cracking up.
Yep. Oh, losing it.
Yeah.
In the book, Secret Diary of Laura Palmer, they're running away from a drug deal gone south.
Yeah.
And Bobby, like, shoots a guy in the chest and the guy falls off a truck and they never really know what happened. So did he kill him or not?
Yeah.
And both of those things can't have happened.
Right.
So, stuff like that.
Totally.
Hey, Bobby Briggs in the book. What do you think? Any thoughts?
Yeah, kind of. I mean, he seemed like he was like pretty nice at first.
Like very innocent.
Like very sweet.
Almost like Laura Palmer corrupted him.
Yes, exactly. That was exactly what I was going to say. Yeah, like he seemed like he like kind of ran with a rough crowd, but he was like the follower in that crowd who wasn't really looking to do all the bad stuff, but kind of would maybe dabble and be adjacent to it. And that Laura was kind of like, come on, what are you, a wuss?
Yeah. Which I actually really think is interesting.
I do too. That part, again, it's just picking what you like. That part makes sense to me and sticks to me.
Like they have sex for the first time.
And he cries.
And he says that he's in love with her.
Yeah.
And she writes in her diary about this and she's like, he told me that and I didn't know how to respond, but I hated him for it.
Yeah.
I hated him for telling me that and for feeling that way, so I laughed at him.
Yeah.
And she describes how she could see his face kind of crumple.
Yeah.
That she was laughing at him for like opening himself up like that.
I know.
And shortly after, they're going on drug runs together and
and she's like sleeping with his friends and stuff and he knows it. And like, it's just very, in a weird way, I really love that plot detail all the way through season 3. In season 3, Bobby Briggs inexplicably got his shit together. I love Bobby Briggs in season 3.
I love him.
He's one of my favorite characters in it. He's
a cop.
He's a cop now. He was distinctly not one of my favorite characters in the original show.
Oh, I really liked him.
I didn't. I thought he was like weird and annoying and a like bad actor, even beyond like weird Lynchian acting.
Huh.
Yeah, I did not like him at all.
I thought he was a good actor. He has a very expressive face.
I guess there's sometimes I think he's a good actor. Like there is a scene where he goes from like fine to crying really rapidly when he's talking to his dad at one point, who is Major Briggs. But besides that, I thought he was like ridiculous.
Well, yeah, I get that. But in season 3, him being a cop now, they're digging up like old evidence from the Laura Palmer case.
I can't believe how much I love him now.
I really love it.
Yeah.
And they set her homecoming queen picture on the table, and he just happens to be walking through and he sees it, and he starts crying. And it felt like a weird sort of like play off of the way that Twin Peaks used to be very soap opera-y.
Yeah.
But reading this book and thinking about what she probably meant to him and how significantly she impacted his life in negative and positive ways, he loved her and she was part of the reason that like he became so nasty and embittered and driven to be a bad person. Yeah,
he had like a ton of emotion tied up in her, like good and bad.
And it's amazing to think of him 25 years later looking at her picture and just being like overwhelmed. It feels real. And this book makes it feel even more like, plausibly, understandably complicated and true.
I understand that a lot more. I didn't understand it as much watching the show in the 3rd season in real time. I was kind of like, what?
This is out of left field.
And, like he didn't even seem like he liked her all that much. He was like cheating on her with Shelley the entire time.
Right.
Like what? But so this really makes that feel more grounded and cooler.
Yeah. I loved it.
Yeah.
I really loved it. She's really screwed up. Like dark and weird.
Yes.
There's a page where she writes out, she's like, I'm going to write down everybody that I've had a sexual encounter with. And it's 2 pages of initials.
Yeah.
And reading the book through, like, there's a lot of stuff going on, but seeing it condensed all into like a couple of pages is like, oh my God, she's been like, like all over the place and who knows what she's been up to.
Totally.
And she doesn't seem to know. She feels like she's out of control.
She'll have sex with like anybody. Like she hitchhikes with these guys and then they take her back to their hotel room and she's like, oh, how am I going to get out of this situation? Better have sex with all of them.
Well, she does like a weird
in that
show.
She doesn't. Yeah. She kind of
like
shimmies out of it.
45-minute long show to hopefully make them fall asleep, which is weird.
Yeah, she's got some sort of weird hypnotic sexual power.
Yeah.
Like,
I don't know.
But no, there are other situations where she's just like, well, I guess I have sex with all these guys. I guess I kind of,
I got to do this.
I guess I'm going to do that. Yeah.
In the show, they make a big deal out of the fact that there are pages ripped out of the diary.
Yeah.
And as you read the diary toward the end, you'll finish an entry and then the next page will say page ripped out.
Right.
And I love seeing that represented. It's really cool. However, I did the math. In the show, they say something to the effect of like there are 4 pages ripped out of the diary. In the book, There's something about like maybe 7-ish.
Yeah.
And it's hard to count because sometimes it's like there'll be writing on one side of the page and then you'll turn the page and it'll say page ripped out and you're like, well, so.
Well, I guess it's not meant to be literally. It's transcribed into a different size.
Agreed. It just made it hard to count.
Yeah, totally.
But it certainly seems like more pages are ripped out of this than what they say in the show.
Yeah, that sounds right.
So this isn't really the diary from the show. What I'm saying is just like another thing to be like, well, this is also not really like tied together entirely.
Right.
Yeah.
Another interesting thing, and I think we should move on soon if you don't have other thoughts about it, was explaining kind of why she was doing all that like Golden Girl stuff, like doing Meals on Wheels and tutoring Johnny Horn and stuff like that. It was because she was kind of trying to like tit for tat counteract this darkness that she felt that she had.
Yeah.
Because in the show, it like, you know, everybody who she kind of knows casually in the town is like, I can't believe this happened to Laura. She was such an amazing girl. She was the homecoming queen. And it was like, how'd you pull off both of these worlds and even why? Like, she seemed really dark and it kind of made a little bit more sense that she wanted to kind of make up for what she thought were her like bad traits.
And would literally just be like, I've got to do something. I'm going to suggest to Norma from the Double R Diner that I could deliver food
to shut-ins.
Yeah. Like
Harold
got to do
Smith,
something nice. Yeah.
Who appears in this, who's the weird orchid man from season 2?
The orchid man.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's great though. I love that guy.
Yeah,
he's so weird. Looks like Balky a little bit.
Yeah, he does. We just watched the movie True Romance. Early Quentin Tarantino.
Is Balky in that?
Balky's in that.
Really?
Yeah, he is.
Good guy, bad guy?
I mean, it's a Tarantino world, Kristen, so.
That's true.
Are you really ever one or the other?
Good point. What does he do?
There's both light and dark in all of us.
Yeah, I know. Okay, go ahead. What does he do?
He is an actor who's involved in a cocaine deal.
Okay.
So.
He seemed to be kind of an asshole in real life. Do you remember when he was on The Surreal Life?
Yeah.
He's like not a nice guy.
Yeah. All right. We're running out of time.
He had a deep well to pull from.
He certainly seemed to. The final book.
Yes.
The autobiography of FBI Special Agent Dale Cooper. My life, my tapes. Kristen, have at it.
Great.
It's so great.
So great. Like we said before, it's just perfectly written in his voice.
Yep.
It's snappy. It moves at a good pace.
Yep. Because
it's entries set into a tape recorder. It's like short little entries basically. So it feels like once you pop, you can't stop kind of thing. I really liked that sort of pacing. I
loved it.
Yeah.
Bite-sized little nuggets of entertainment.
Totally.
Here's an entire entry.
Yeah.
I love this.
Yeah.
He's about 12 years old.
I know.
He's about 12 years old during this. January 12th, 7 a.m. Noticed this morning that my pee smells like the asparagus we had for dinner. Wonder why this does not happen when I eat a hamburger. Also this morning, Mom was very quiet around the breakfast table. I think she had another dream about the birds in the sky. This dream seems to frighten her. I do not know why.
Yeah.
Bam.
It's got
That's
everything.
An entire thing. You just want to jump right into the next one.
Completely. And I really like that there are things like that about his mom peppered through. Like she has kind of weird dreams and visions the same way that Cooper does.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. I loved this book. I loved this. Actually is one of my favorite books that we've read in a while.
I agree. I completely agree.
It was really genuinely well done.
Yeah.
And just like, it was good. It was great.
I want to also point out that this, like The Secret Diary of Laura Palmer, written by a family member of the Twin Peaks world.
Yes, I know.
This book is written by Scott Frost, who is the brother of Mark Frost, who created Twin Peaks alongside David Lynch.
Yeah.
So the two big books were written by the daughter of David Lynch and the brother of Mark Frost. Yeah. And I love that.
I know. I like it too. I like that it's like all in family.
Yeah. I wonder if we should read some Scott Frost books in the future because he writes them.
Yeah. I mean, I would give it a shot.
One, right?
Yeah. I mean, I liked this book so much. I know that it's definitely partially because it's about Dale Cooper, who is probably, I haven't thought to really rank it, but definitely one of my all-time favorite characters in anything.
Completely agree.
So, it's partially probably that, but he still did a really great job with it, so I'd give him a shot.
Yeah.
I'd read a synopsis of another book and see if I would be interested in it.
Scott Frost is also the person who wrote the Dale Cooper short audio book that we listened to for this episode. And I wonder if he was kind of like cutting his teeth writing for Cooper in that or something. He wrote a couple episodes of the show. And I feel like he just nails it completely.
Totally.
Can I read another short one?
Yeah, sure.
Was preparing to continue my surveillance of the 24th Street gang. He's like 12.
Yeah.
when I noticed strange activity next door in the Schlerman house. Bradley's older sister, Marie, who is 14, was standing in front of the window in her bedroom wearing her mother's red wig and dancing in a very strange way. Her arms and wrists didn't seem connected, and her legs moved very slowly, like an ice skater on Wide World of Sports. This all makes me feel very strange, and I do not know why. I have never liked ice skating. I also have the feeling she knew I was watching. Every once in a while, she looked out the window in my direction, grabbed her knees, and smiled. A very frightening experience. It's incredible.
I remember I started taking a couple pictures, and I was like, I'm just going to take pictures of this whole book if I do that.
I mean,
yeah, it looks like you did.
I pretty much did that.
Yeah, totally.
There's a lot of stuff in here that, like, I think because it is so charming, because it's written in that sort of, like, positive cadence of his voice.
A second.
Yeah.
Let me see if I can.
So there are a lot of things in the book that I feel like, because it is so, like, filled with the positive energy of Dale Cooper.
Yeah.
Even when dark things happen, they're almost more understandable and relatable because he is trying to make sense of them in his own way.
Right.
Like his mother dies, and he has like a series of tragedies in his life. His mother dies. That girl Marie, who dances around and grabs her knees and smiles at him, she ends up
grabbing
dying.
your knees is really like good move.
Yeah, it's weird.
Yeah.
I don't really understand. Like all these dark things happen to him, and he will be like, I don't know. Like, I don't understand these things, and I don't know what they mean. And like, they like make me feel like sad. It's like, and I don't know if I'll ever be okay again.
Yeah.
And then inevitably he moves on and he is okay again, and he goes through another adventure.
Yeah.
And it's really heartening to be like, okay, he suffers too. And then he kind of collects himself, and he just moves on.
Yeah. Like he's not totally perfect in the book or anything. Like in the show, he seems, like somewhat unflappable, and like he's got this like incredibly accurate moral compass that he always follows.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, to a degree, about him, falling in love with his partner in the FBI, Wyndham Earle's wife.
Yeah.
I think that's the only thing that you would say is like any sort of transgression on Cooper's part, like in the actual series 1 and series, like I'm British, seasons 1 and 2.
Yeah.
But yeah, in this, I mean, first of all, yeah, he goes through tragedies. He's like a really horny teenager.
Yeah.
Which is weird, but also like normal. And it's fine.
I thought it was funny.
Yeah, it's fine.
Yeah.
But it's just funny to see like vulnerabilities in him. That's not even a flaw thing I'm saying, but just like him not just being like, yep, everything is A-okay, okie dokie. This is a damn fine cup of coffee. This is the best cherry pie I've ever had in my life. He's like, I'm not having sex with as many girls as I thought I'd be having in college.
Yeah.
Need to look into why this might be.
Yeah.
Like it's so, like it's
well,
perfect.
even when he like acknowledges one of his own shortcomings, it's with this sort of perspective of like,
must investigate.
Yeah, exactly. I got to figure out why this is happening.
Yeah.
He tests himself a lot.
Yeah.
There's an entire sequence where he tries to stay awake for 48 hours to see what happens to him.
Yeah.
And he's like, no, like I feel like completely fine. And
that part made me laugh, actually.
It's so funny. And he's like talking about like talking to a corner of his room and weird stuff that he's like.
And then like the next, he's like, yeah, I can't believe I'm fine. And then the next entry is like, oh my God, I was not well last night. I should have been confined to a hospital or like something like that, where he like in hindsight is like, holy crap, what did I say?
He's like, review the previous tapes from my 48-hour experiment. It's clear that I was on the brink of psychosis.
Yeah.
It's like insane. The asparagus pea thing. He's like, I want to check the other things that make my urine smell.
Yeah.
Potatoes. No. Hamburger. No. Hot dogs. No. Broccoli. No. Asparagus. Yes. Conclusion. There is something about asparagus that makes it unlike any other food.
There was one thing,
that's the conclusion, that it's unlike any other food.
There was one thing in that list where it was like, he tested like hamburger and then like hamburger after sitting out for a day. Like not that, but it was like a similar kind of deal.
Yeah, absolutely. There's an incredible moment where he tries to record a girl's sex education
my God.
class.
Yep.
Crawls through the vents above the school and gets caught.
Yeah.
And then he separately decides that he wants to become a special agent in the FBI. So he sends a message to, what's his name?
J. Edgar Hoover.
J. Edgar Hoover. And he's like, my name is Dale Cooper. I'm 12 years old and I've decided I'd like to be an FBI agent. My record is completely clean. I have all top marks in school. It should be noted that there is one There is one note on my record that I was caught secretly taping a girls' sex education class. I did this for the public, not for personal gain, and I think it should not be held against me. Respectfully yours, Dale Cooper, age 13. Or whatever. And it's like...
It's so good.
And he goes like, received correspondence back from J. Edgar Hoover. He commended me for my attempts to explore the world around me. Whatever. Yeah. I was just like, yep, you're in the right world, man. Like, you're doing the right thing. You're doing exactly what you should be doing.
So, you know what's something I liked about it, even though this filled in a lot of gaps? I liked that there was still some mystery left.
Yeah.
I actually like that we don't know exactly what he did when he was traveling the world and went to Tibet and stuff like that.
Yeah, so do I.
Like, they very well could have filled in all that stuff and had like Agent Cooper's adventures when he met sages in other countries who helped him develop some of his ideas and mysticism and some of his expansion of thoughts beyond just kind of like our Western ideas.
Yeah.
But I like that it was like no recordings from this date to 3 years prior.
No
and then after that,
3 years. Yeah.
After that, he just has references here and there to people that he had met in his travels abroad and things like that. And you kind of gather it from knowing the context of seeing the show.
Yeah, absolutely.
And he does drop references to Tibet and stuff like that.
Well,
but,
and the fact that this book leaves off with him going to Twin Peaks. Like, he goes like, Diane, I've received another case.
Yeah.
I'll be heading to a small northwestern town called Twin Peaks.
Yeah.
And so we see some of his history, and then we saw it all in the show leading up to where we thought we would leave him forever, being seemingly possessed by Bob and smashing his own head against a mirror.
Yeah, totally.
So like having all of these things and seeing what he was like, but not getting all of it, and then knowing that this is kind of a tragic story.
Yeah.
This is the story about Dale Cooper, this like plucky kid who got it in his head he wanted to do something extraordinary. This is what his life was like. He was a normal human being. He was a little eccentric.
Yeah.
And he ends up being corrupted by a demon.
Yeah.
And goodbye. That's it for 25 years. It all plays together. It all gets like cinched together in one really weird, cool story.
Yeah.
And it's awesome that they didn't feel the need to like, have him be like, I'm standing in a Tibetan temple and here's what they just taught me.
Right.
That would demystify
like that
too much.
Exactly. I like not knowing exactly where he kind of gathered those beliefs and things like that. It's part of the mystique of Cooper.
Yeah, absolutely.
The same way there's some mystery in the world, there's some mystery to Cooper himself.
Although I think, one of the things that I really like about these last two books is that they're kind of the same book in a weird way. Laura Palmer's diary is a written account from her own perspective of the things that she's going through.
Yeah.
Dale Cooper doesn't write a diary.
Right.
He records everything he says. So this is the secret diary of Dale Cooper.
Yeah, totally.
And Twin Peaks is a story about these two people and kind of how they impact each other's lives.
Yeah.
If we had never gotten season 3 of Twin Peaks, the way the whole thing ends is with both of them in the Black Lodge or the Red Room, the waiting room, whatever you want to call it. She is sitting in a chair and he is standing at her shoulder comforting her. And they're perhaps just locked in this bizarre, otherworldly, supernatural place together.
Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah.
Now here are a couple books. Riddle through what they were probably like before that.
Yeah, true.
I really, there's something that's really, like, I love that.
Yeah, that is very cool.
I love that there's, like, in Fire Walk with Me, Laura Palmer is in bed. And Dale Cooper appears to her in a dream.
Yeah, yeah.
And it's outside of time.
Totally.
He has not come to Twin Peaks to investigate her murder yet. But time is all happening at once.
Yeah.
And so he's already locked in the Red Room and he's communicating with her.
Yeah. And that's awesome.
Likewise, while he comes to Twin Peaks to investigate, they find tapes that Laura Palmer made of herself and she's, like kind of communicating from beyond the grave in that way. So they're constantly like crisscrossing in each other's lives in a weird way.
Yeah.
And they were very similar people. They both recorded their own experiences.
Yeah.
Constantly.
Yeah, that's a great point. That. Yeah, totally. And also, I noticed that you're a little bit of a Dale Cooper boy because he's speaking in the microphone all the time.
Oh, so are you then?
Yeah. But you've done it a little bit more. And you've talked about how that's kind of how you document things.
I guess.
So,
yeah. Yeah. Weird. Interesting.
Yeah.
I haven't like gone through like like what happens to the human body when you like drink too much water or whatever the hell he does in this book.
Give it time.
Constantly testing his limitations. Cool Easter eggy kind of things.
Yeah.
He has a dream about his mom. Long after she's dead. She seems younger.
Oh, yeah.
Her face is smooth and pale. Her hair is long, falls under her shoulders. She was trying to tell me something, but I was not able to hear her. She reached out, touched my hand, and then was gone. I woke to find myself clutching a small gold ring in my hand. Mm-hmm. Small gold rings are a major plot point later on in the show and in the movie. He has a lot of imagery about firemen and stuff, putting out fires.
Yep.
We later learn that the giant calls himself the fireman.
Yep.
He goes through moments where he's near death. He has a few moments where like dark things happen to him. And one of them when he's younger, which I really liked, is he's like, I wish I was older and that I knew more. It's a very simplistic childish way of being like, I'm not complete.
Yeah.
Like I don't have the tools to understand everything.
Yeah.
And then later as an adult, he is stabbed by Wyndham Earle, who kills his own wife, Caroline, who has fallen in love with Cooper, and Cooper falls in love with Caroline.
Oh, okay.
And Cooper's recordings end at that moment with him saying, I have been stabbed, unconscious. Caroline is dead. Caroline is dead. Forgive me. And it's the weird, tortured, quiet side of Cooper that we see later in the show Twin Peaks, but isn't always highlighted all the time, that he is sort of like driven and a little bit, he is a crazy person. Like he has been like kind of like twisted and put through the ringer. Time after time after time.
Yeah, he's had a lot of really weird experiences.
Yeah.
The Wyndham Earle stuff was fun to read, but it definitely did feel jarring. And I think this is kind of a good thing. Wyndham Earle is jarring in the book in the same way that he's jarring in the show.
I agree.
He's such like a big, broad character, like very jokery.
Yeah.
In a show that, even though it's so bizarre and everything, is still grounded in this like somewhat sense of realism and heart, or at the very least, it's a little bit quieter in a certain way than Wyndham Earle is. But I liked that it was consistent in that way. Like it was jarring in the book and jarring in the show.
Yeah, and it's funny that like Wyndham Earle is like very like classical madman serial killer Hannibal Lecter, where he's like obsessed with chess.
He's like the Joker.
He is like the Joker. And he's like, let's play chess, Cooper. I'll make the first move and I'll make it soon. And Cooper's just like, I'm passing these tapes on to Gordon Cole.
Yeah, I know.
Like he's just kind of not playing the game.
Totally.
In a weird way, he's not really responding to it.
He's not making moves or whatever. Yeah. And I did like that filling in their story.
Yeah, so did I.
Because you just know from watching the show that he had a partner named Wyndham Earle, that he had a wife that Cooper fell in love with, and Wyndham Earle wants to get revenge. But this fills it in a little bit more.
I still think it's interesting. We have very few objective stories here. Because even this is like a totally first-person account of these events, where Cooper can be like, I did something wrong. And like, you know, I betrayed my partner's trust, and I've fallen in love with a married woman, and all this stuff, and he can punish himself for that. But it's also not the objectively true story, because he's seeing it through his own viewpoint. Yeah. And similar to Laura Palmer, like, we don't really know what actually happened.
Right.
We just have their own accounts of it.
Yeah.
And that's pretty cool.
Yeah, totally.
He says at one point he had a very strange dream last night. I was dancing with a tiny little man and a very beautiful young woman.
Yeah.
Oh, is that the man from another place? And Laura Palmer?
I wonder.
Huh. Oh, I wonder. I'm not going to read all of these because I took too many pictures. There's one thing that I thought was awesome, and it feels like it's like central to what the hell is going on with Twin Peaks. I think that this is after he's like devastated. I think it is after Caroline's murder. Yep. He's in the hospital and he says, I don't know who I am. We search and always end up looking into the same mirror at the same reflection, hoping that we will find something different. And ironically, his fate is to look into a mirror and find something different.
Yes.
And is that
totally
something that he wanted?
Right.
No. He looks in the mirror and sees Bob.
Yeah.
The weird demon man.
Yeah.
But the seed of that is right here.
Right.
He's been longing for that. He wants to see something different in the mirror.
Be careful what you ask for, Coop.
Yeah.
So that book rules.
It's amazing.
All right. Now I want to finish by trying to keep it brief, but I know if I were listening to a podcast that was about this and I knew that the hosts were watching the show, I would want to know kind of what they think about this season 3 that's going on.
Okay.
So real quick, what have you been thinking and maybe predictions for the finale?
I loved the beginning of the season. It was very different.
Yeah.
And it set a tone that was like, okay, we're not going to see the same things that we've seen before. We're not following the same format. We're not back in Twin Peaks. I had been wondering, when we come back, is it going to be there's another murder like Laura Palmer and that gets us off and running? No. And to the point where it's like, I would struggle to tell anyone what this has been about and what the driving motivation is behind even telling this story now.
Yeah.
Throughout the middle part of the season, I was very frustrated. It seemed like it was constantly going back and forth between giving us episodes that seemed to tell us nothing and then episodes that maybe wouldn't tell us a lot, but would be really fun or funny or look cool or be really bold and explosive. Episode 8 was this crazy atomic bomb thing, 45 minutes of iTunes visualizer of fire spreading across the screen. I sat and watched it and was angry at it. I acknowledged it was amazing, but I was angry that he wasn't telling us a story. And I say he, because this is Mark Frost and David Lynch, but David Lynch is the one that directed, did the sound design. I think that Mark Frost's story is completely altered by David Lynch's execution of the story. You and I talked recently about, hey, we're both so frustrated with this. Is there anything they can do now to make me feel like the entire journey was worth it? And at the time I said, no, there's nothing they can do to fix any of this. They can show me something cool. They might end it in a way that makes me go, wow, that was exciting. But I'll look back at the whole thing and go, I was annoyed by a lot of that.
Right.
And I was right. I really, really enjoy it. And I respect it in its own right, season 3. I think it's very challenging. I think that it's very boring. And I think that it is a very weird thing. I think that David Lynch is both punishing us for ever wanting this in the first place, but I think that he also loves the story. We left off with Dale Cooper trapped, and it took 16 hours. 25 years of life, and then 16 hours of this show for him to come back into it. And I don't know if it was worth it, but I'm really excited for the finale because this previous episode where Cooper returns and we see him was so exciting.
Totally.
So invigorating. It gave me all of my stamina back. It doesn't make the preceding hours feel entirely like we should have been there. But I am completely accepting of what it is.
Yeah, totally. Any predictions for the finale?
I think Cooper's going to die.
Yeah.
I think that Cooper's going to die in a very final way. And whether that means that his, like, literally, like, his soul is crushed and we'll never see him again, or if it's like, well, he lives on forever in the Black Lodge. Goodbye. We'll just never see him again. But he's out there somewhere. I don't know.
Yeah.
But I think part of the reason why we had an entire season of Kyle MacLachlan being on screen but not having his full capacities has literally been a shuffling person who repeats everything that everyone else says. His name's Dougie.
Yeah.
People mistake his identity. He has no ability to comprehend the world around him until episode 16.
Yeah.
I think the reason why is because when he finally popped out, he popped out going like, here's what we have to do. The FBI is looking for me. That's good. A man named Gordon Cole will probably be calling here soon. I need you to tell him that I'm going to Twin Peaks. Okay, charter a jet for me. We're going to go to Twin Peaks. Here's what we have to do. Here's when we have to do it. Blah, 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 blah. He's very godlike. It seems like 25 years spent in the Black Lodge has made him too powerful. If we had started season 3, not in a bad way, but if we had started season 3 with Dale Cooper stepping out of the Black Lodge and going, I know exactly what we need to do, there would never be any tension about, like, we would almost be like, wait, you seem like you knew everything you were going to do.
Right.
So, like, why do we have 16 hours of this? 18 hours of, like, you waffling on how to do it or something? I think that he's going to clean things up pretty quickly, is what I think I'm saying.
Yeah.
Breaking Bad. Spoilers for Breaking Bad all of a sudden.
Yeah.
Breaking Bad very abruptly ended in a way where Walter White almost functioned like a ghost. Everything that he did in the final episode, he was completely, like, correct in doing.
Yeah.
And did them right and without fail. almost to the point where it was like amazing to watch because he so unflinchingly did a million convoluted things and they went according to plan.
Right.
That's what Dale Cooper feels like to me. Huh. And on the one hand, it's awesome that this guy that we've loved throughout the entire show and just in concept is being elevated to like this like god tier status. He can do anything. He knows everything. He seems like he's omniscient. Like I feel like he's almost like the god of the Black Lodge or something at this point, or you know, the warrior of the Black Lodge, and he's been imbued with power to come back to Earth and clean shit up. And I think it's going to be really exciting to watch. Yeah. But I don't know there's a lot of story to tell with a guy like that. Yeah. Because once you're Superman, like nobody likes Superman stories.
Right. I mean, I didn't see him that way at all. Like, it seemed like he was like awake and ready to take care of business because like, oh my God, I've been like dormant forever.
Oh my God.
But I didn't see, I see what you're saying, but I didn't see him that way. Like, he was always pretty like, take care of business. I know what's going on. I feel like it was almost like he had all that pent up and now he was ready to use all these things he's been thinking about while he's locked inside Dougie. So maybe. I still think it's not impossible that he might die in this next episode, but I don't see him as like having this like Black Lodge superpower.
Really?
It's kind of just him.
He pops out and he turns to Mike, the one-armed man, and he goes, do you still have the seed? Which we've never heard referred to before. It's this little golden ball.
He had been in there.
I know, but it's like, it's, I guess my question is like, if he doesn't, he then goes, so anyway, my point is, Mike does have the seed, this little golden thing that you can make people out of, apparently. Yeah. Dale pulls a couple of hairs out of his head and he goes, I need you to make me another. Yeah. Gives him some hairs. And then he turns to his old boss and he's like, this is going to happen. And then he sees his wife and son and he goes, this is what's going to happen. And then he tells these guys to get him a jet. Yeah. And why is he going like, it seems like he knows a lot of things that are going on.
It does, but I kind of feel like it's been, the way I interpret it was that he's had a ton of time to think about it, kind of. Like he was locked and not able to express himself, but he was able to take in and process these things that were going on.
I guess. I don't know. He seems so, like, I don't understand, like, I don't know what anyone's supposed to do at this point. So the fact that he knows where he's supposed to be at what time to accomplish something is more than we've ever been given in the show. And if he knows that stuff.
Well, he just knows he should be at Twin Peaks, right?
I guess.
Like, not like time or anything. You know?
I guess he knows time is of the essence for some reason. Right?
True,
like, it feels like when Mike spoke to him, the one-armed man. Yeah. He's like, the other Cooper didn't go back in the Black Lodge.
Oh, right. That's why. Yeah.
Yeah, but it's like, they spoke to each other in a very debriefed sort of like, we both understand the circumstances. Right. Okay, break. I'll take care of everything. Right. Which is like, oh, if you know how to take care of everything, I mean, that's awesome.
Well, I think he knows maybe, cool. You know, that he has to take care of everything. I don't think that in the next 2 hours, Cooper's just going to be able to like dispatch bad Cooper, no problemo.
No, maybe not.
Which I know isn't what you're saying, but like, I don't know. He just feels like original Dale to me.
He does. He does. But he also feels like seasons 1 and 2.
Who's seen some more shit.
Yes. Yeah. Seasons 1 and 2, Dale was a guy that like wanted to do good and believed in mystical ways of getting it done. Yeah. And then he would be like, I had a strange dream last night. Be like, Laura Palmer whispered her killer's name to me in a dream. Like, really? Who was it? And he goes, I don't remember.
Oh, it's so good.
So it's exciting.
I actually want to rewatch.
So do I.
I like just rewatched it.
I know. I feel like he always was struggling to understand this other paranormal world. And I feel like now he understands it. Like, I think that he would be able to tell you, like, yeah, the Red Room is this place and it leads to that place and this happens and that happens. Like, I feel like he knows it.
Oh, I think he knows that Red Room and everything. I don't know if he knows everything about all, you know, unseen things, because there's a lot, you know.
There's a lot.
Yeah, out there.
And it did seem like when he travels
ways,
he travels around to a couple of different spots in the first couple of episodes, and he does seem confused by them, which suggests he was only in that Red Room, I guess. I'm just curious about what he knows and what he doesn't.
I am too. I like I said, I guess I think that he is Dale, but he knows now the workings of the Red Room. Yeah. And he just has the same sense of like, I'm an FBI agent, I'm going to figure this out urgency that he would have had anyway. But I do, having said that, you know, even though I don't think it's like an omniscience kind of thing, I do think it's likely that he'll die.
Yeah, I just don't think that he can. I think it's going to be like a what he wants. Like, I think it's going to be like, I'm here visiting. Right. I'm going to set some things right. And goodbye, my friends. Right. Like, I think it's going to be more like that.
Yeah, I kind of do too. The only thing that makes me hesitate,
and that's the kind of thing that makes me think that he's like a god, where it's like, it feels like stories that I've read before of, and I can't think of one example. It's gonna drive me nuts, but of just kind of being like, yeah, I've come here from another realm.
Yeah.
And it's been nice seeing you guys. But you know I can't stay here. I don't belong here. So I have to go. You know what I mean?
Yeah, maybe. I think that the fact that they're like doppelgangers and stuff maybe is what makes that a thing.
Yeah.
Or it could be a thing that's like, it's too complicated for me to be here now because there are copies of me around.
Yeah.
Exactly. So I think it could be that kind of thing.
Maybe.
Where it's necessitated by the fact that they're like fucked up other Coopers and stuff.
Yeah.
So I don't know. That's really all I got is that I think that he might die. I'm not 100% on it, but I think I think it's likely, but not the likeliest in the whole world.
I also think it's the kind of thing that David Lynch would really love.
Yes.
That he's like, here's your delayed gratification.
Yes.
You don't get to see Cooper until the last 2 episodes.
Right.
And also, that's the last time you'll ever see him because I'm going to kill him now.
Right.
Like, I think that he would like that.
But I do think he would like that. That's part of why I think that. And then a conflicting thing is the fact that he has said that, like, he's not like teasing it like, well, there might be another season in here, but he has said that like it's not impossible that there could be something in the future.
Yeah.
And him even saying that makes me wonder if he would kill Cooper. Because Cooper, even though he was like in this weird, like semi-vegetative state for this whole season, he was still there.
Yeah.
And Cooper is so Twin Peaks himself that it's hard for me to imagine David Lynch saying that like it could continue and have no Cooper involved.
I think David Lynch and Mark Frost are getting older. Mm-hmm. I think with knowing full well that October 31st drops what might be the last Twin Peaks book, Twin Peaks: The Final Dossier.
Yeah.
It seems like it's over.
Yeah.
It seems like this is it.
It seems
and
like
it seems like David Lynch is taking a victory lap where he's including like sort of imagery from his other works. And he's like taking everything he's learned through his whole career and applying it to this 18-hour movie.
Yeah. And
that feels like a final act. And that's really exciting.
Yeah.
Like even all the problems that I have with this show is like I've gotten into arguments online with people where I'm like, I'm telling you I don't enjoy this, but I completely respect it.
I do too. I feel really similarly about it. Like I feel about the episodes in the season as a whole exactly the same thing that you said, so I won't even repeat it.
Yeah.
But like I think it's amazing.
It is.
I think it's badass.
We may never see anything like it ever again.
Yes. Like that, when I was, I guess probably that 8th episode with the nuclear thing. Like, yeah, I remember sitting and not self-consciously, but like, I guess consciously thinking like, man, I don't know if there's ever been anything like this on TV before. This is so crazy.
It really is wild.
Awesome.
And the fact that
it's just not what I was looking for or what I would like from my Twin Peaks.
Well,
thing,
that too is why I think it's kind of amusing to be like, Dougie, the concept of Dougie, that Dale Cooper has come to Earth and he doesn't have his right mind.
Right.
And he'll just talk to somebody and whatever they say last, he'll just repeat it. And he eats cherry pie and somebody says that something is damn good. So you see him eating pie and he says damn good.
Yeah.
And it's like, that is supposed to be like most viewers online are like, that's it. Like Dale Cooper's starting to come back. Like the pie's going to bring his mind back.
Yeah.
But to me, it always played like this really cynical thing from David Lynch of being like, all you want from a revival, all you guys want from a reboot is to watch us like reanimate these corpses and make them say the same shit they did before and do the same shit they did before. So here's your Agent Cooper. He is as mindless as most shows and he just says the same shit. Damn good eating some pie. There you go. Do you like it? Do you like it as much as you did? Is this what you wanted? There you go. Like it really does feel like a fuck you to the concept of a reboot and a revival. And it's really annoying for me to watch that.
Yeah.
And holy shit, do I think it's also kind of badass to do it.
Totally. I think it's an affectionate fuck you. I think he thinks it's like
sometimes.
Yeah.
I've been so like back and forth on like what I even want to spend my time doing lately. I almost sat down to do a video essay on 2 episodes from this season and how sometimes these jokes play as fun, playful nods and being like, up, not yet, up, not yet. And it's really enjoyable. And you can watch it and be like, oh, I really loved that. Yeah. And sometimes it's like, not yet. And it feels more like, fuck you for even wanting it. And I think it's like episodes like 14 and 15. One of them felt like a big fuck you to the audience. And the other did very similar things and felt like we were in on the joke too. And it's like a fine line but I think both sides of it, I think, are in this show. Where he's like I said it from the start too. A little of this is like maybe self-congratulatory, but the beginning of season 2 of Twin Peaks, Dale Cooper's been shot. He's on the floor. That's the end of season 1. You're like, who shot him and is he going to live? What's going to happen?
Yeah.
Season 2 opens and they don't answer the question. They spend 10 minutes of an old man trying to give Dale Cooper a glass of milk and not calling the police and not acknowledging that he's bleeding. Literally 10 excruciatingly stretched minutes.
Yeah.
And I thought to myself, take that moment of people's anticipation and multiply it by 25 years. What is this thing going to be? And I was kind of right.
Yeah.
He doesn't give you Dale Cooper. Dale Cooper's been replaced by a doppelganger and he's in the Red Room. What's going to happen? Well, we still don't know. Yeah. Like, we still have no idea what the thrust is of this show. Yeah. Because he loves poking you in the ribs as hard as he can. Yeah. It's crazy.
Yeah, it's insane.
Yeah.
Man, I felt like I was just going to say something else. Shit. If it were that important, I would have remembered it. I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know if I want a season 4. I don't know if I could do this again.
I could do it again.
I know
what I was going to say. I know what I was going to say. Yeah, I was thinking about whether I think this is all worth it or whatever. And same deal or whatever you're saying, worth it, or if it all makes you appreciate what came before. Yeah. If it could be so great that it could make you appreciate what came before.
Yeah.
No. But, I do think, and I would trade it, but I do think that that was such a sigh of relief and huge exhale and moment of catharsis when Dale sat up. Like the second you could see his eyes pop open, and I was like, oh my God, it's like actual Cooper. You could tell instantly. And I don't know that we would have had that kind of moment without all of that Dougie stuff. I think we could have had it after even just a few episodes of Dougie stuff, honestly, because Dougie was so tedious.
Yep.
But, I will say, I still wish it wasn't a thing, but that moment was so like, yes, like, I felt like I understood sports or something. Like when people are like, yes, there's a touchdown. I was like by myself because Ryan fell asleep because we had to watch the replay of it because we were at a wedding. Yeah. And so I was just like, I'm not missing it. And I stayed up and I was by myself in our living room and I was like, or something. So I was like, yeah, he's finally there. Yeah. And like, I don't know if I would have experienced that without all that other stuff.
I think that's exactly true. Cause like we all expected this revival, whatever the hell. Yeah. To be like, all right, we're going to see what Dale Cooper's been up to. Yeah. And the fact that the answer was no was one, frustrating, but two, it set us off balance. We don't know if or when we're ever going to see him again. Right. So you keep guessing and you keep waiting and he played the game. I still think too long.
I totally think
he could have done the wake up moment earlier and still gotten us to be this excited.
I definitely think so. Well, I don't know if I'd be this excited is my point. Like, I still wish he had. I still would have been very excited, but I do think I'm probably a couple of degrees more excited because it took so goddamn long and I was worried if it was even going to happen at this point, and it finally, thank God, did.
Well, then that says to me that it was all worth it then.
Not really, not enough. Those degrees aren't worth it enough for me.
You would forfeit how excited you were.
Yeah, I would still be
have some of that time back.
Yes, I would still be very excited. If it's 2 degrees less excited, that's fine. I would rather spend more time with actual original recipe Dale. Yeah.
See, and that's the difference to me between like fun toying with an audience's anticipation. And that sort of needling, malicious.
Yeah, I did not find it fun. I just don't know that I think it's malicious.
I think some of it is.
I don't know.
Some of it's just like bug nuts, bonkers, stretched beyond the point of rational thought. Like why?
I've just never gotten the impression that he has like contempt for his audience.
I don't think. Well, I guess that's the difference. I don't think that he does. I definitely don't think he would ever say he does, and I don't think that he actually does. But I think that he doesn't know where the line is sometimes between being like how far. I don't think he has. How about this? I don't think he has contempt for his audience. I think that as a director, he knows that that he's doing something that people won't like. Yes. That's what I think it is.
Okay, yeah.
Like he loves his audience, but I think he also knows.
Or saying it's a fuck you is like, there's like an intent of like shittiness there.
But doing something because you know that people won't like it is malicious.
I don't think he's doing it because he knows people won't like it, though. I think he's doing it in spite of the fact that people won't like it.
He's doing it out of spite.
No, in spite of, like, even though I don't think there's any malicious or spiteful or whatever intent. I think he thinks it's cool and interesting and it will challenge people. I don't think he's like, let him chew on this. I just don't. I just think he has a very different sensibility than most people do. And he's willing to go with that sensibility, even if it might clash with other people. He's still like, no, this is my choice. And I think it's the right one.
Yeah. Maybe. I think that's probably more true.
Just from what I know of him as like a person and like what he's talked about, which is very minimal about like his work. He just doesn't seem like that kind of dude. I think he just has very strange sensibilities.
Well, I'll do a rewatch of season 3 at some point.
Yeah.
And I'll see if I can still spot those moments. Because I think it will play differently in a binge watch
I actually think I would enjoy it more watching it all again.
Yeah.
Because as I'm watching it live, I'm hungry and annoyed and anxious for answers. Yeah, and watching the clock and everything. Yeah. So I'm like, when am I going to find out this thing? When's whatever? I think I would enjoy it more rewatching it, knowing all the answers that will be given. Yeah. Not necessarily all the answers.
I think this is probably the most exciting like TV event of my life.
Yeah, I hadn't thought about that. Probably is for me.
Remember how much we loved watching Lost and guessing about it and talking about it?
I pooped out on that like 2 seasons in.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is there anything else?
Ooh. Oh boy. No, I don't think so.
Breaking Bad was really exciting.
Breaking Bad was very exciting.
But this is
especially given that this has been like one of my favorite shows for like a really like 10 years or something.
Is like
and then like I never thought it would come back.
Yeah.
And
It's like confusing and frustrating.
Yeah.
And even if it makes you angry, how many things do you watch that actually pull that reaction out of you? It's kind of impressive.
That's what I'm saying. It's amazing how much it captivates my mind, how much I think about it, whether it's good or bad. Like I'm so in it. Even when I don't like it, I'm still just like, I fucking love it.
Yeah, I can't
even though I don't like it, I love it.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think whether this finale is more exciting to me than the premiere or not. That may have.
For me, the answer is yeah.
Been the most exciting.
I have more expectations this time. That time, I distinctly remembered that I was able to put myself in film geek mode and just be like, whatever comes, comes, and we'll see what it is. And even when it turned out to be completely different, I was like, this is very exciting, and I like how different it is and how challenging it is. Not realizing that I should have like buckled up tighter.
Yeah.
This time I'm like, no, I still don't really know what the show's about.
Yeah.
I don't know what's going to happen. I have no way to predict really what's going to happen, but at least I have an idea of what this world feels like now and some idea of like everyone's converging on Twin Peaks. That alone is more information than I had going into the premiere.
Yes.
So the anticipation is certainly higher.
Yes. I'm trying to remember. I don't know. I was like beside myself for that. So it might be tied for me. I was like so excited for the premiere. So, and I feel similarly now, but just with more information. So these might be the 2 biggest TV events of my lifetime.
Oh, well, when I said that, I also meant like season 3 on the whole. Like this is crazy.
Yes,
that
totally.
This happened at all.
Oh, completely.
No matter what.
Yeah.
I think season 3 is going to end in some way that is not closure based or completely satisfying in a conventional way.
I think that that's safe to say. I agree with that.
Like there's going to be something else.
I can't wait to find out what's going on with Audrey.
Yeah.
I can't wait.
I'm less interested in her story.
I'm very interested. When that was another thing that happened that I like gasped at the TV when she did her dance in the Roadhouse and then they cut to her in some like kind of all white room. I was like, what? I'm very interested in whatever that is.
I hope she's not in a psychiatric ward though. That feels too
same. I'm not assuming that she is for some reason. Yeah. That could be. I know that's been speculated about and it could be, but for some reason I don't think she is. I think she's in some sort of weird other dimension.
I feel like there's like a jail Mr. C made.
Yeah.
Eagle Cooper. I feel like he made a jail for the real Diane
Yes.
I feel like he'd put like good people in a bad place or something.
That's basically what I think is that she's trapped somewhere.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm excited to see what that is. What the hell? Oh, have you read about like the theory of Diane being NATO?
Yeah, I don't really like it.
I don't like it either. I don't get it.
It breaks the rules.
It does. I don't understand it. I don't get it.
NATO is an Asian woman without eyeballs.
Right. Why would that be Diane?
Because all it is because Diane said, I'm not me. I'm not me.
Right,
I'm in the sheriff's station.
Right.
I'm in the sheriff's station.
Right.
And then she disappears. She blinks out of existence. And so we're like, oh, she's in the sheriff's station? NATO. Wait a minute. NATO and Diane share most of the same letters.
I know, that's so lame to me.
well-
Most close but no cigar. That doesn't work for me. That's not like wow Bob wow.
Yeah,
Diane
exactly.
and NATO.
Unless the thing is like, well, I mean,
she's that guy with a goo.
maybe goo mouth. Chomp on this.
Yeah.
The concept of doppelgangers.
Yeah.
Wasn't really introduced in Twin Peaks until the final episode.
Right.
Maybe we're going to have another new concept developed in the final episode of this. Maybe it's like your spirit is divided among 2 or more bodies. Or like you can change form.
Right.
I could be someone else entirely, played by a different actor. And that would also help for the fact that a lot of this cast is getting older and or passing away.
Yes.
So maybe we will have a new concept of to complement or replace the doppelganger tulpa concept.
I think it's not impossible, especially because one of the things that supports the Diane and NATO sort of thing that's subtle enough that makes me think it could be legit, because it's just kind of like a weird detail, is that Diane wears a lot of Asian inspired clothing.
Right, yeah.
And that just seems, I mean, I noticed it but didn't think anything about it. And then when that theory came out, I was like, that could be kind of like a pointed reference.
It's interesting. That actually, it feels more true to me now that I'm thinking like everyone's obsessed with doppelganger. Like you can't go to any Twin Peaks related conversation without people being like, well, I think that this person's a doppelganger and the real person is over there.
Right.
Everything has become doppelgangers to the point of absurdity where people are like, maybe the entire town of Twin Peaks has been replaced by a doppelganger town. It's like, I mean, maybe, but I don't know. It's a lot. It's just a lot to hinge everything on.
Yeah.
It would be very in keeping with the tone of the show to be like, nope, final episode, we're going to throw a curveball.
Yeah.
Here's a new Dale Cooper who's played by a different actor.
He really is. He's amazing though.
He's incredible.
He's at this point played 4 different characters.
Yeah.
And he's been really great.
He is amazing. He's a to the point that you're like, why haven't we seen him?
I know.
More?
He owns a vineyard, and I think he's just like loving his life.
Cool. Good.
Yeah. Yeah.
I do want to point out something that I thought and never brought to anyone's attention, so it sounds like bullshit now.
I already don't believe you. Go ahead.
Episode 8 was the nuclear bomb episode.
Yeah.
Episode 8 of the original show was Dale Cooper getting shot, and it was the season finale of episode 1. I had been thinking, I wonder if episode 16 is going to be a really big deal. Because episode 16 of the original show was episode 8 of season 2, which is Leland Palmer being caught.
Yeah.
It's like, I wonder if they're doing anything where it's like, we're going to kind of echo the original series. And episode 16 ended up being hugely significant.
Cool.
So that felt true. So now I'm wondering if my theory of like season finales is true. The finale threw us a new concept in the new show, in the old show of doppelgangers. Maybe the new show will go like, here's something you never knew about.
The new show's season finale will be a doppelganger for the old shows.
Season finale.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So the finales are doppelgangers.
Yeah. Kind of.
Also, I read that, you know how like in the weird room where he meets why can't I say her name now? I just said
NATO.
It's at like 3:15.
Yeah.
Dougie lived in episodes 3 through 15.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
And he stayed in room 315 in the Great Northern way back in the day.
Yeah.
Yeah.
A lot of 315 and
a lot of 315.
Yeah.
Cool. All right. Is there anything left to say?
I don't think so.
We've said a lot.
We've said a lot. I'm really looking forward to seeing Dale Cooper in front of the Palmer house.
Yeah, so am I. I'm very excited about this.
I am too. I can't wait.
So we're going to be talking about Twin Peaks again before the year is out.
Yep.
Just after October, I think we're doing the episode early November because we need time to read the book.
Yeah.
We're going to be reading the final dossier.
Yeah.
And whether or not that's going to actually shine a light on what it all meant.
Yeah, I guess we'll find out.
I don't know. But I would anticipate that you and I will probably say something about Twin Peaks between now and then.
I would imagine.
But for sure, we'll be talking officially about Twin Peaks again, and we'll probably be able to give some of our thoughts. And I hope we remember some of the things that we said tonight.
Yeah.
So that in the future, we can be like, were we right?
Yeah.
Because we will know.
I know.
Future us's already know all these answers.
Ugh, I can't wait. Well, and since time and space don't really matter that much, I wish that they would just shoot a little message to us so we would know. No, I don't. No, I don't. I want to see it. Well,
let us enjoy it on our own, you goofs.
Fine. We have to institute a no talking policy during the finale. None.
None at all?
We can talk a little bit, but not too much.
We're going to have donuts and pie.
Yep.
and coffee ice
I
cream.
really am bringing crisp bacon, almost burnt.
Why? What is that?
He asks for that at the Great Northern.
Oh, that's right. Yeah. Maybe we should have breakfast for dinner.
Yeah, that'd be good.
Yeah.
Wait, Ryan doesn't like breakfast for dinner.
What?
He finds it perverse.
What topsy-turvy? He's a chef. He likes things orderly.
He only thinks eggs should be eaten in the morning. Whenever I tell my
Not even at lunch.
no, I guess that's probably okay. Not for dinner though. Whenever I tell my breakfast for dinner, he's always like, ugh.
That's really funny.
I know.
That's really weird. Let me throw this your way real quick. Somebody, I read a couple of weird things online recently. Before season 3 was decided and announced, there was a graphic novel in development.
Right.
That would have been about Dale Cooper returning from the Black Lodge and whatever, getting mixed up in a crazy world of doppelgangers, and maybe Bob in Cooper's body is a serial killer now.
Yeah.
And it was canceled.
Yeah.
Obviously. Would you want something else like that? Would you want the adventures to continue in a comic book, or anything? Any way, anyhow?
I've been thinking about that myself because I haven't listened to it yet, but I know that there is a series on Audible that's an X-Files extended series with David Duchovny and Gillian Anderson narrating it. And I thought to myself, would I want that for Twin Peaks? I think that I would, because for some reason I'm able to keep this like distance between things like that. Like I said, like even though there are inconsistencies in The Secret Diary in particular and in the autobiography of Dale Cooper, it doesn't bother me at all. I can still just appreciate them as sepparates things. So I think that I would feel the same way about something like that. So I think yes.
Cool. Yeah, I would do the same thing.
Yeah.
And somebody posted a picture online. They did some artwork of the Twin Peaks sheriffs, the cops, walking through the woods and seeing a vortex in the sky.
Yeah.
And the art style was very poppy and colorful and not abstract, but like not everything was fully realistic. There were no features on anyone's faces. It was really just kind of like a cool looking image. And someone said, "Oh boy, can you imagine a point and click adventure game in this style?" And holy,
I would do that.
Crap. Can you imagine a Twin Peaks point and click game, walking through the Twin Peaks sheriff's station and walking over to a table with donuts and being like, "Take donut." And then watching Dale Cooper pick up a donut and chew on it. And then like you can visit the Double R Diner.
Yeah.
Because it's all very food based. Sit down and have some pie.
As long as it was a cool style and it didn't look like Kim Kardashian Superstar or anything.
God. Yeah. No. Yeah, hopefully it would avoid that. I hope that I would like more than anything else. Once that person said it online, I'm like, yeah. Like I would totally do a puzzle agent walking around Twin Peaks solving a crime video game. That would be really cool.
Totally.
Who knows? Who knows if it will live on at all?
I know.
I feel like this all might be gone.
I think it probably will be, honestly. Even though I'm saying the things about David Lynch saying, like, never say never. I think that's just, like...
He's just saying it because he doesn't want us to be like, oh, this is the end.
Or just because, maybe. I mean, I say never about, like, everything, basically.
True, yeah.
So, but I don't think that there'll be anything else.
And I think it's probably good for it to just be
I think so.
over.
I think so. I would still love more. I'm not somebody who's ever like, nope, which is not necessarily a good thing.
Right.
Like, no, just leave it. I'm always like, well, yeah, I'll take a little more. Let's see how it goes.
Yeah.
And if I don't like it, I don't like it. It didn't change the other thing.
Yeah.
So I would love it if it went on forever.
True.
But I think it probably won't. And that's okay.
Yeah. That is okay.
Yeah.
They're doing a big marathon showtime for the finale starting at 4 a.m. They're going to be playing all 18 hours of season 3 straight through to the end of the final episode.
If we were going to be home, I'd keep that on just in the background.
I feel like that is a fun challenge. Like again, like to like the film geek in me is like, well, this was written as an 18-hour movie.
Yeah.
Then bring it on.
Then an 18-hour movie I shall watch.
Yeah. Knowing full well that it took me like 3 sittings to watch Fire Walk with Me.
Yeah.
But
like Fire Walk with Me.
It's hard.
That's why I don't get a lot of I have not seen it that much. I've seen it a couple times, but
well, it's funny. It's one of those things where it's like it's about where the focus is.
Yeah.
It's Laura Palmer's story, so the story is a lot more dark and kind of like upsetting.
It also just feels weird. Like it does, like, again, harping on it. The books seem disconnected, but their own things. The movie seems like a weird, like, ripoff or something, even though it's in the universe. It, like, doesn't feel right to me.
No, I think it just feels like, to me, it is just like
Cooper looks weird. He looks like a little shiny, like Max Headroom.
Yeah, a little
like
bit,
something's weird about it.
There is, I was talking about this with Allie, that like the Grand Theft Auto games. every time you play a new game, you're playing as a brand new main character. And most of the games take place in the same quote unquote universe. So like if we're playing the Kristen Rogers game, she might run into Will Rogers. And then 5 years later, they released a game where you play as Will Rogers and you might run into Kristen Rogers. But like the focal point is different. The way the games feel is different. You just understand we're both in the same world.
Right.
And that's what Twin Peaks is like for me. Where it's like the original series, it's all about Dale Cooper.
Yeah.
Like he's there to solve like who killed Laura Palmer. But it's all about how kind of quirky he is.
Yeah.
And how quirky the town is. And some of the playfulness of it is because he's a playful guy. And then when you see that same town through Laura Palmer, who's a lot darker and more twisted. Yeah. It's the same place, but it feels different because we see it the way she sees it.
Right.
And I like that.
Yeah, I do too.
I like that a lot. And especially Twin Peaks as a franchise where it's like we've gotten a really good Dale Cooper story in the first 2 seasons. And we got a Laura Palmer story in Fire Walk With Me. Yeah. It's like season 3 is kind of like, well, like no one's story in a weird way.
Kind of.
Or everyone's story.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah.
But I really appreciate that sort of like weird balancing act where I feel like these 2 characters, Laura Palmer and Dale Cooper, are bizarrely fated to have something to do with each other. Yeah. And they take place in the same world, each of their independent stories. Yeah. But their stories are independent.
Yeah, totally.
They feel different.
Like Batman and the Joker.
Yeah.
Or us and toilets.
Yeah. Well, they're like the yin to our yang.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We just keep being drawn back together.
They complete us. Cool.
All right.
Yeah.
I could keep talking about this.
I know. I could just,
I actually have things to say off mic.
Wait, really?
I mean, not like, but I don't want to go on forever. Right. So I'll just leave it. That seems like a good button to put on it. Me making a reference to the podcast and toilets.
Yeah, sure.
So why keep going on?
Fair.
Yeah. Fair.
Tired.
I know I do. So next time, so in 2 weeks from today, the next book that we're going to be reading is called not The Final Girls. Damn it. The Final Girls. It's called Final Girls, and it's by Riley Sager. This has been a hot book of summer.
Yes.
So we're being a little timely, which I guess we just were now as well.
Sure.
And so I'm going to read you the product description from Amazon. It says that it's the national and international bestseller. And then, William, guess who put a quote on the book for...
Stephen King.
Yeah.
I knew it, really?
Of course.
I guessed. I did not even know that.
I mean, William, we've joked a bunch about how he'll put his quotes on any book. So
I know, but it really makes it feel like it literally is every book when you can just go like, guess who's on it? Oh, Stephen King? Yeah, again. Yeah,
it's a scary book. Of course he has a quote on it. He said, "The first great thriller of 2017 is here. Final Girls by Riley Sager. If you liked Gone Girl, you'll like this." 10 years ago, college student Quincy Carpenter went on vacation with 5 friends and came back alone, the only survivor of a horror movie scale massacre. In an instant, she became a member of a club no one wants to belong to, a group of similar survivors known in the press as the Final Girls. Lisa, who lost 9 sorority sisters to a college dropout's knife, Sam, who went up against the sack man during her shift at the Nightlight Inn, and now Quincy, who ran bleeding through the woods to escape Pine Cottage and the man she refers to only as him. The 3 girls are all attempting to put their nightmares behind them, and with that, one another. Despite the media's attempts, they never meet. Now Quincy is doing well, maybe even great thanks to her Xanax prescription. She has a caring almost fiancé, Jeff, a popular baking blog, a beautiful apartment, and a therapeutic presence in Coop, the police officer who saved her life all those years ago.
I mean, that's definitely a reference.
Yeah. Her memory won't even allow her to recall the events of that night. The past is the past. That is until Lisa, the first final girl, is found dead in her bathtub, wrist slit, and Sam, the second, appears on Quincy's doorstep. Blowing through Quincy's life like a whirlwind, Sam seems intent on making Quincy relive the past, with increasingly dire consequences, all of which makes Quincy question why Sam is really seeking her out. And when new details about Lisa's death come to light, Quincy's life becomes a race against time as she tries to unravel Sam's truth from her lies, evade the police and hungry reporters, and, most crucially, remember what happened at Pine Cottage before what was started 10 years ago is finished.
Wow. Mm-hmm. That's a lot.
I know.
That's a lot. But that sounds cool.
Yeah, it sounds good to me.
That's actually in the vein of a show that I've always wanted to see and no one ever really produced.
I know.
Yeah, The Final Girls.
They were supposed to. It's practically the same plot.
I wonder if this person also read that and was like, wait a minute, no one's making this?
I think they have to have.
Yeah.
Like, I read some news blurb because I followed tons of like entertainment celebrity goss like years ago that I sent Will that said that there was going to be this show in production called Final Girls or The Final Girls on ABC Family, the station that brought us Pretty Little Liars. Went astray. What are you going to do? That was going to be Jamie Lee Curtis and like a bunch of girls, like same deal, like girls who had survived massacres and stuff.
Yeah.
And then I could just never find an update on it. It just went away. And then they announced that Jamie Lee Curtis was going to be in Scream Queens, and then that sucked. So yeah,
cool.
Will and I are finally getting the show that we were excited about those many years ago.
That's right. Final Girls.
Yep.
Can't wait.
Yep. So check it out. We're going to be talking about that in 2 weeks.
Absolutely.
And it's going to be a good book for you to have read because it's like a hot, like people carry it around lately.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it's a popular book.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Well, I'm very much looking forward to that.
Mm-hmm, me too.
And I really hope that everybody out there listening, if you made it this far, pants emoji.
Yes.
I hope that you really enjoyed the episode.
Yep.
If you have any thoughts about Twin Peaks you'd like to send our way, please, for the love of God, do it.
Yeah, totally.
If you have any questions or anything that you noticed out of these 4 books that you thought was pretty cool foreshadowing or echoes something that we've seen before, also share that.
Yeah.
So I'm sure that there's a ton of stuff that we didn't even catch or just didn't say because we can only say so much.
Totally.
But yeah, you can talk to us about all that kind of stuff on Twitter and Instagram.
I'm at Chillin' Kristen.
I'm at Haunted Sponge. Next week, we're going to have an off-book extracurricular show, just shooting the stuff.
Yep.
Although we will have seen the Twin Peaks finale next week.
Yeah.
I wonder if we'll want to talk about it.
We may.
Not impossible.
Yeah.
And that's before we read The Final Girls in 2 weeks.
Right.
So once again, we hope you guys had a good time. I know that we did.
Yep.
And until next we meet, wherever, whenever, and if we're the same as we are now, or if there's someone looking at us in the mirror that's...
Wait, wrong hand. I have to shake my right hand.
Yeah.
I'm not me.
Oh.
I'm not me. That's Diane.
That's a very good Diane impression.
Thank you.
Good talk.
I have a Diane manicure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Your hands are also really dirty.
Yeah, my jeans are like really...
Your hands so dirty.
It's from my jeans. It's the blue color rubbing off. I've had these jeans for like a year.
Good talk, gang.
Well, I just want to make sure the people at home don't think I just have dirty hands.
They understand now. It's your jeans.
Okay, all right.
Good.
You're going to call me out on my woodsman charcoal man hands.
You drew attention to your hands by doing the shaky hand Diane thing. I was like, why is there dirt all over your...
Did you guys also notice that Diane is shaking her right hand, and in the second season of Twin Peaks, everybody was shaking their right hand randomly?
Oh, interesting.
Yes. Okay, anyway. All right, I'm done.
All right, cool.
I'm done. Okay.
Good talk,
But just
gang.
notice that, and it's a cool thing. Meeting adjourned. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
We're all of a sudden they're like,
Why were they doing that?
no one knows.
Hey everyone, thanks again for listening to the show. If you enjoyed this episode, you should consider going to our website, www.talkbomb.com, where we have archived every show we've ever done. You can also visit our bonus show store, where we sell exclusive episodes of our podcasts for 50 cents a piece, not to mention our merchandise. If you enjoyed Talk Bomb, the best thing you can do is help us spread the word. Tweet, share, review. We would greatly appreciate anything you can do to spread the word. Please also consider following us on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram, where we're at TalkBomb. Following us online is the best way to keep up to date with our productions. More than anything, we just hope you enjoyed the show. So thanks again for listening, and we'll see you at TalkBomb.com.